We got some Super Saturday action coming on up here. Ready to go. Hey guys, how you going? Sit down, BKRsport. We are live as the Canberra Raiders will be taking on the West Tigers, and it has been a week for them, hasn't it? It has been, well, it's been the last 15 years for them, really, but it's definitely been a week for the West Tigers where, unfortunately, again, they are back in the old media circus, isn't it? It's just unavoidable at the West Tigers. And look, if you want to think of it in somewhat of a relative positive way, it's because you've got a lot of passionate fans that the media knows they're going to click on, right? And that they know that they're able to pretty quickly get you. So, yeah, look, It's a troubling situation at the Tigers with Adam Dewey and Benji Marshall, and I feel for Javon Andrews in this situation as he's a young kid debuting for the West Tigers today amongst all of this absolute kerfuffle drama that is going on in Balmain as per usual. But, the Raiders, they just got to get their business done. They got to get their jig going and flowing, and look, ultimately, they're still in the hunt for top 8. The Storm losing yesterday was very beneficial there to the Raiders because it means the Raiders can go above them today. And look, the Raiders will really hope that the Warriors can do them a favour by beating the Dogs later on, and also the Sharks doing a favour and beating Manly tomorrow. Most teams around that top 8, everyone around that top 8, will be begging that Cronulla win tomorrow, just like they were begging the Titans won last week against Manly. Well, it's time to go against Manly again. The thing is that I know people don't like Manly, but it's not even that people shouldn't. It's not even that you don't like Manly that you should be going against Manly right now. If you are, say, a Dolphins, a Rabbitohs, a Knights, a Cowboys, a Bulldogs, a Raiders, technically a Storm, but not really. At the end of the day, you should just be kind of going for anybody but Manly on the basis that their points differential is so solid right now. It is amazing at 126. They're above the Sharks. They're the third best points differential team in the comp, which makes you so nervous if you're fighting for that top 8 alongside a team with a points differential like that. But let's get into this game here today. Before, obviously, guys, we'll be live for Bulldogs versus the Warriors. Right after this, in a massive game where the Bulldogs need to win, the Warriors, they've still got a chance at that minor premiership. And then, obviously, we've got the Cowboys and the Broncos in a massive battle there, because the Broncos, they need to win 7 of their remaining 7 games to make the finals, and the Cowboys, they are right on the edge of the finals in 8th position, and with a loss, obviously Manly could jump them with a win over the Sharkies, and the Bulldogs wouldn't jump the Cowboys, but, well, depending on how much the Cowboys maybe lose by and the Bulldogs beat the Warriors by, technically speaking, you could actually see the Bulldogs in the top 8 this week if they were able to get a surprise, decently sized win against the Warriors in this next game. So, quite juicy there if you are a Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs fan. But also, look, I don't know about that one, but we'll see. Anything can happen. So that's the 3 games we've got today. Tomorrow we've got Dragons, Titans, and Manly versus the Sharkies. But all right, let's rock and roll with this game here today. So do me a favour, hit that like button, subscribe if you are new around here. Let's do it. The Raiders 12th, Tigers 14th, and this is at GIO Stadium in Canberra as a last-ditch game of survival for both these teams. The ins for the Raiders, Jaden Brayley, Matty Nicholson, Sebastian Chris, and Vena Patukikase, with the outs being Hudson Young. So sad to see that he's out for the season. Noah Martin, Owen Paddy, and Sevelia Tamale. The fullback is Kyle Weeks, with the wingers being Jed Stewart and Xavier Savage, centers of Simi Sasangi and Matty Tomoko. The 5'8" is Ethan Strange, the halfback Ethan Sanders, with the front row forwards being Corey Horsburgh, the bra man, the big bra man. He will be referred to as such. He will be referred to as such in this chat as the bra man. And then you go to the other front row forward, which is Joseph Tarpany, who was the captain. And then the number 9, you got Tommy Starling. Back row is Zach Hosking and Ata Mariota, with the 13 being Morgan Schmitties. And then you go to the interchange, Jaden Brayley, Josh Papali'i, Dane Laurie, Matty Nicholson, Sebastian Chris, and Vena Patukikase, with the coach being Sticky Ricky Stewart. Look, the Raiders, they have had a very tumultuous season. They're down in 12th position right now, but they have been finding a little bit of form recently. Obviously they beat the Rabbitohs 34-24 last week. They beat the Bulldogs the week beforehand 40-16. They just got past the line of the Dragons 24-16, with the Dragons been playing better recently. So they've won 3 games in a row. However, you go behind that, and then it's a 42-20 loss to the Storm, a 15-12 loss to the Eels. Can you imagine if they won that Eels game? They'd be red hot with a chance to make these finals, despite their -81 points differential. They'd be red hot right now. They'd be on 9 wins. They still need 4 more wins for the season. Win today, you're only 3 wins for the season, and you wouldn't have been... Oh, well, actually, you could have actually been in the top 8 today had you won that Eels game. So, yeah, the Eels' loss of 15-12 is brutal, considering you were very much expected to win that. But then again, you did lose in an absolutely awful game to the Roosters, 26-0, in Canberra too, mind you. Beat the Cowboys 26-12. Lost the Dolphins 30-22 when the Dolphins had all their players out. This is a season to forget for the Raiders, regardless of how it pans out. Like, I know obviously you'll be proud of the fact that they're getting some wins now and they're putting themselves back into the conversation. You just want to be in the conversation. As a Titans fan, this is all what I always say. I just want to be in the damn well conversation, man. That's all I'm asking for. Like, I'm not even asking to win a premiership. I just want to be in the conversation because you like to be able to do these mathematical equations. You like to have that hopefulness and have that belief that maybe it might just go our way, but there are teams on the bottom of the table that sometimes just don't ever get that. Tigers are a great example. Titans are a fantastic example. Dragons since 2019 have been another example. Parramatta, usually an example besides like the early 2020s. These teams never really get to do any mathematical equations on a serious level. And whenever you are doing these mathematical equations, it's usually pretty much done and dusted. But at least I'd like to have a bit of mathematical something. Give me a little bit of maybe if we win 100 games in a row, we get in. And I'm sure you do get in with 100 wins in a row, which is what the Titans have done throughout their history. But, the point of the matter is that the Raiders last year won the minor premiership. And this year, they're struggling to make the top 8. And if it wasn't for these last 3 wins in a row to get back into form, they were well on target for a bottom 4 finish. And it's not even that the bottom 4 is completely out of the equation. They're only 1 win above the Tigers. So the Tigers today won't go above them because their points differential. But the Raiders are still super, super damn well close there to that bottom 4, despite finishing in first position last year. And it's still, the top 4 of last year are still not in the top 8 right now. Probably the last chance of a team to get into that top 8 would be the Bulldogs, because the Storm losing last night was huge. I guess the Raiders are still here. Actually, no, it would be the Bulldogs and the Raiders, because the Bulldogs and Raiders are both on 8 wins. So these are the last 2 teams that, out of the top 4 last year, have a chance against that top 8. Because the Broncos, it's 7 in a row, it's just not happening. And you'd still have to rely upon points differential, mind you, which is not good at minus 124. And the Storm, they're just in an absolute basket case right now, aren't they? But they're not technically out of it, but they need to win 5 games in a row just to get to 32 points because they've got a bye, which is a disadvantage at this time of the season for a team chasing the top 8. So that's the Raiders. Look, I think that Ethan Sanders has been showing a little bit more. I haven't been crashing out about Ethan Sanders a lot more recently. Like last week, he had a pretty good game when they took down the Rabbitohs, and I think he had a pretty good game, an okay game against the Canterbury Bulldogs as well. I think these last 2 games have been really beneficial for Ethan Sanders because the first 17 rounds honestly made me repeatedly punch myself in my own nose. Like I just wanted to continuously just go like this, watching Ethan Sanders. But the last 2 weeks, I've been pretty okay with him. So surely he turns up here today against a Tigers team that's just in an absolute mess right now, and they just cannot get out of this mess. And I do feel for him. I do, because even though you're fans, when it comes to being successful, you'll be the most aggravating fans on the planet because of how much pent-up frustration you've had over the years. Same thing will be for the Titans, but we're just less fans than you guys. Same thing will be when the Eels were up there. They were aggravating, but I just think the Tigers are going to be the worst for it just because of all this pent-up frustration and anger that has been over this last 15 years. You have got, let's safely assume that anything below 6 you wouldn't understand. So anything below 6 years old, you wouldn't really comprehend a great deal in regards to rugby league. So it's been 15 years since they've made the finals. So you could have been born in 2005 and you don't remember the Tigers being in the finals. Again, they were in the finals in 2010 and 2011, but you wouldn't even remember it, so it's crazy to think that somebody could be 21 years old right now and they're not even remembering the Tigers being in the finals in their lifetime, even though they were just at the very beginning stage of their life. And if you want to be specific about it, 15 years old has never seen the Tigers in the finals. So, they're always in a shambles, but we just got to hope this organisation can turn it around. And regardless of the fact that the fans will be really aggravating to deal with when they do eventually become successful, you got a little bit of a taste test at the beginning part of this year. I do want to see that happen because I do think that they've got a passionate fan base and I do think they deserve it. But anyway, that's getting on to the Tigers. The Raiders here today, they have every opportunity to win this game. Realistically, they should win this game. There is a big change in the halves. Look, I think that the Tigers have a solid 4-pack, a really good underrated 4-pack. But at the end of the day, the Raiders have a great 4-pack. Even though they're missing Hudson Young, they've still got a great 4-pack here, the Raiders. But when Hudson Young's not playing, they do typically tend to struggle. So we need to see Ethan Sanders step up again here for a 3rd game in a row. Him and Ethan Strange need to turn it on. Kyle Weeks needs to be as good as he's been. And I think they've got a pretty balanced roster here, the Raiders, that should be better than what they've been throughout this season. It's just unfortunate They don't have Hudson Young and also Noah Martin, who has been massive for them as a rookie this year for the Raiders. Now let's move to the West Tigers, where a lot of ins and a lot of outs. Shake it all about. So Bunty Afu, Heath Mason, Javon Andrews, Junior Tupou, and Patrick Herbert come in, with the outs being Adam Dewey, Himasi Makasini, Jarrell Skelton, Kit Lalali'i, and Latu Fainu. The fullback is Jakeem Baller. Jeez, I got twisted up in my words just then, thinking about all the things that Gus Gould's called him over the years. But Jakeem Baller, the fullback with the wingers being Junior Tupou and Falatino Tavana, centers of Sunya Toruva and Paddy Herbert. The 5'8" is Jerome Luai, the captain, and on debut, Javon Andrews was from the Titans. He actually signed from the Titans this year, has come across to the West Tigers, and he is now debuting as a halfback. Now, the front row forwards are Terrell May and Fanor Bole, with the number 9 being Apisai Korowisau. Back row is Samwala Fainu and Ethan Roberts, with the 13 being Alex Twell. Interesting after last week. And then you go to the interchange, Jared Hayward, Sini Fainu, Alex Seyfarth, Bunty Arfoa, Stafford Toa, and Heath Mason, with the coach being Benji Marshall. Look, in regards to the Tigers, it's an interesting thought process, right? Because I don't agree with Adam Dewey's stance. And I don't think that anybody does agree with Adam Dewey's stance. I think that at the end of the day, my personal belief is that the coach decides the team lineup. And you are contracted to play for the team under said coach. I know you want preferences. I know you want to play in a specific position. But if the coach believes he wants to debut a halfback and put you into the onto the bench or put you into the 13 where he believes you're going to succeed. At the end of the day, he believes you're going to succeed there. And if you play to your best ability, you are probably going to succeed there because the coach is meant to know all. If the coach doesn't know all, well, then guess what? What's he doing there? What's Benji here for if he doesn't get to decide the team roster? What's Benji here for if he doesn't get to decide how this team runs out? That's the whole point of a coach. He takes the responsibility for it. He takes the accountability for it. You know, if the Tigers lose, Benji Marshall is going to be the one that cops it the most. Because at the end of the day, this is his team and he is the head honcho of said team. Obviously, you've got your captain, but you've got, 19 players here that will all take from each other in regards to the criticism. And criticism will obviously come towards players. But Benji is the sole coach, the one coach, and it's his decision-making in terms of who plays. And if he makes the wrong choice, he will get criticised for it. I don't believe that as a contracted player, you should sit out of a game because you feel like that's not the right play. And this is why I've been criticising AJ Brimson quite a bit for the last year and a bit, because I didn't believe, and I still don't even know how much he gives a shit about playing in the centre, even though he's had a couple of better games recently. But I've criticised AJ Brimson for my club and the Titans quite a bit because he's demanded to play in the fullback or in the halves because he wants the ball. And they haven't done that. They tried to get him into there. He didn't perform too well in the 5'8", and obviously Counter Kinney's in the fullback. So he's now playing the centres. At the very least, he is playing in the centres. At the very least, he is playing in the position that he's been told to play in. So I can't criticise that. Yes, I can criticise his actual care factor for playing in that position, but at the very least, he's not saying, no, I'm not playing. I'm not sitting out here, and I'm going to get onto the field there and do what I can, regardless of the care factor. So that's a positive criticism for AJ Brimson. I don't think that there is a positive criticism here for Dewey. I don't think that you can make an argument for it. But I'd love to hear, and I genuinely would, love to hear an opposite opinion from a Tigers fan or from a neutral who may have a different thought process on that. If you have a different thought process, please comment it in the chat. But for the time being, whilst I'm going through these teams and the ladder, I just don't know how you can defend the decision-making from Adam Dewey to sit this one out. I just don't know. So I'm going to take the Raiders here, but I do think the Tigers actually have a sneaky little chance. It just depends on how they come in. Like if they come together, they sing Kumbaya, and they want to go against the media and go against the negativity right now, and they want to really prove that there's still a chance, like they've got to win every single game, but mathematically they'll be out if they lose this game here. Actually, no, technically, yeah, they would be because they've got a bye still to come, so they need to win 6 out of their remaining 6 games. To get to the 13. So yeah, they need to win all their games. So no, they have to win, otherwise they are mathematically out. Like, could the Tigers come in and surprise? I don't think the Raiders are perfect, but the Raiders have been a lot better recently. I would not be surprised if the Tigers win this game. But I am going to be taking the Raiders. And I do think there is an absolute gigantic world. If I was to make a prediction, I would go 13 plus Raiders. I would. However, I can still see the Tigers surprising here, getting an upset, and, playing for Benji. But I also don't know how much the Tigers playing group is invested behind Benji right now. I don't know if they're backing in. I haven't seen any media reports about it. I don't know if the players have backed in Benji or they've backed in Dewey here. And I'm sure they won't publicly comment on it. But it comes down to how much they care for their coach and how much they care for their club. Because at the end of the day, yes, Dewey's done what he's done. You need to get on with your job. You are contracted as a player to this club. You have fans who have travelled down. You have fans who watch on. You have people who are financially, physically, and mentally invested in your club. Go and do it for them. Go and do it for yourself as a player and ignore the shit that goes on that has nothing to do with you. Yes, sure, Adam Dewey can be your mate, but you still have to ignore the shit that's going on there and get the job done here because you are still a professional franchise. So I'm going to take the Raiders 13 plus, but it just comes down to how much the Tigers want it. It really does. Now, in regards to the ladder, I'm going to quickly go through the remaining games. So you need to get 13 wins to get into the finals. The Raiders have got a bye remaining. So they're on 8 wins right now. They need 5 more wins out of the remaining 6 games. They play the Tigers here today, the Panthers in Mudgee next week. Oh, boy. The Knights are at home, the Sharks away, the Broncos at home, a bye, and then the Cowboys away. You need to win 5 of those games. So let's try and entertain it. The Tigers game, let's go and give the Raiders the win there. Panthers game, let's go and assume that they lose there. So that's their only loss that they can have. They would then need to beat the Knights, the Sharks, the Broncos, and also the Cowboys to be within a slight little chance of making that top 8 and getting to 32. But again, they need to fix their points differential because the points differential is on minus 81. So there's still a lot of work to do. Everyone keeps thinking that if you get 32 points that you're guaranteed in. Nah, that's not true. You're not guaranteed if you get 32 points. You still have to have a decent enough points differential. And the Raiders are at minus 81, so you need to have a couple of big wins up your sleeve to really, and especially if Manly finish on 32 points. If Manly finish on 32 points, you're done already. You're done already because they're already plus 126. They are over 200 points off better than you. Over 200 points off better. So you better damn well hope Manly lose. Because if Manly gets to that 32 points, you're done. You're not beating out Manly's points differential. So you either make 34 points, which is not actually... Oh, it is possible if you win every single game for the rest of the season. But you've got to really beg that Manly lose a game. You do. You've got to beg for it. So, yeah, look, that's the Raiders. I think it's still an unlikely chance, but still a chance because the draw isn't exactly incredibly difficult. But, you need to win a lot of games in a row. Now, in regards to the Tigers, obviously they are 1 win behind on 7 wins with a minus 162. So they need to win every single game from here on out. Now, they've got the Raiders here, then the Eels next week at home at CommBank, but it's basically a home game for both teams. The bye, the Dragons at home, the Roosters away, the Cowboys away, and the Panthers at home. So let's try and entertain them getting all 6 of these wins. That means that you have to take down... Well, the benefit to playing the Panthers in the last round 27 is that they probably rest players. So, you could entertain the thought process of them winning there. You could entertain the thought process of them potentially beating the Cowboys, but it's still unlikely. It is unlikely they win many of these games, except for maybe the Eels and maybe the Dragons, maybe the Raiders. And, look, it depends what Roosters team turns up. The Roosters still should put a score past them. The Tigers last week lost 32-0 to the Dogs. They lost 32-6 to the Warriors. They lost 24-10 to the Dragons. So when we're entertaining a thought process of the Tigers beating the Dragons, they lost them 24-10 3 weeks ago. They lost 12-6 in the worst game of the season to the Newcastle Knights a month ago. They lost the Dolphins 36-22. They're super lucky they played the Titans and came back in the last 10 minutes to win that game through some absurdity from the Gold Coast, which is so typical Gold Coast, where they won 36-28. But the week before that, they lost 68-0 to the Panthers. This team, unfortunately, has Buckley's chance of making the top 8. They just don't make it. Especially with the points differential of minus 162 right now. They currently have the 3rd worst points differential in the competition, only above the Eels are minus 182 and the Dragons are minus 247. So Tigers fans, if you think of making the 8, it's not going to happen. But you at least want to get some pride into you. You at least want to get some pride. And this is the thing for Broncos fans again. The Tigers have 1 more win than you and we're talking like this. Do you know what I mean? And this is why we respond so heavily in regards to Broncos fans thinking they're going to make the 8. It's listen to how we're talking about the Tigers. They have 1 more win than the Broncos. They have 1 more win. I do think the Broncos are a better team, but at the end of the day, this point of the season, if you're not at the very least at 9 wins by the end of this round, you're still in a tough predicament there. But you're in a nightmare situation if you're not at least at 9 wins. Tigers win, they'll still only be at 8 wins. Broncos win, they'll still only be at 7 wins. You need to be at 9 wins by the time you're at round 22. Round 21, sorry. No, by the time you're at round 22, so this round. Yeah, so look, I'm taking the Raiders here. I am taking them 13 plus, but it just depends on what Tigers team comes in if they're playing for their coach here today and they're playing for their team. But in regards to the ladder, the West Tigers are in 14th position on 18 points, equal with the Eels and also the Broncos. The Tigers have minus 162. The Broncos have a minus 124. And the Eels have minus 182. Now, the Tigers do actually have a bye still, so they are technically above both the Eels and the Broncos, but just the Broncos and the Eels have both had their byes. If the Tigers had to win this game, they would go above the Broncos for now, but the Broncos play the Cowboys later on today. But the Tigers win. They go up into 13th position. They would go equal with the Raiders and the Storm. Now, the Tigers are minus 162, Raiders are minus 81, Storm are minus 12. You're not getting to the Storm. You would have to win by 150-odd points. That's not happening. And the Raiders, they're at minus 81. You would have to win by about 30 to 40 points here. I don't even think 30 is enough, actually. 30 would take you to minus 132. No, you'd have to win by 40, which would take you to minus 122. No, you'd have to win by 42. 42 points or more to go above the Raiders into 12th position. Very unlikely. So, look, long story short, if you win, 13th position, just depends on the Broncos-Cowboys game later on today. If you lose, however, well, then, the Eels have already played and lost, so you won't go below. Oh, actually, no, you could go below them. If you lose by 20 points or more, you will go below the Eels on minus 182. So you will be in 15th position. And then the Titans, they play the Dragons tomorrow. If the Titans beat the Dragons, the Tigers will actually go down into 16th, provided they lose by 20 points or more, and the Titans win. The Tigers would go from top 3 about 2.5 months ago to bottom 2. That is a disaster. However, again, that comes down to losing by 20 or more, and then for the Titans to obviously get a win. But that game tomorrow is a 50-50. We don't know how that's going to pan out at all between the Titans and Dragons. Bottom 2 matchup there down at Cogra. So you'd be begging the Dragons to win that game. But at the end of the day, who cares? It's you've got to be focusing on yourselves right now. And wherever you finish is where you ultimately end up deserving to be finishing, right? So Tigers potentially stays in 14th. If potentially stays in 14th with a win or even with a loss if it's not by enough and the Titans lose. But there's also a chance, and a decent enough chance, that they could go below the Titans into 16th position. On the other side, the Raiders on 20 points in 12th position, equal with the Storm. The Storm minus 12, the Raiders minus 81. Well, the Storm lost last night in heartbreaking fashion for them, which means that the Raiders, if they win, well, bing bong, they're above the Storm into 11th position. And if they win by 11 points or more, they actually go above the Bulldogs on 22 points. Same with Manly on the minus 70 for the Bulldogs. And then minus 81. So if they win by 12 points, Raiders go into 10th position, and the Bulldogs are then forced to beat the Warriors in the game right after this one. They can't go above Manly unless Manly lost by 126 points and the Raiders won by 82 points. Good luck with that one. That'd be a crazy last 2 days of round 21. But no, the highest the Raiders could go is into 10th position, and it would just come down to the Bulldogs losing to the Warriors. If the Bulldogs win, they'll be finishing in 11th position. With a loss, though, they're probably not dropping off anywhere. The Tigers don't have good points differential to get above them. The Eels obviously played, and the Broncos, they beat the Cowboys. They're minus 124. There would need to be a 43-point swing between the Raiders, Tigers being a loss for the Raiders and Broncos, Cowboys being a win for the Broncos. A 43-point swing there. So that is the preview for today. Raiders essentially will finish in 12th with a loss. With a win, good chance of going into 10th position and still being in the hunt for the 8. But guys, do me a favour, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here. The Tigers are out on the field, and the Raiders are about to come out here, son. Get the old clap going, you clap faithful. Get the old clapamundos going over here. Get the old clap going. Like I said, thumbs up, subscribe. Let's do this. Ziggy says, big blocker digging into AD pre-game. Well, look, again, I look forward to seeing anybody who has a different opinion. I look forward to seeing anybody who has a different opinion on the way of Adam Dewey's stance. Brenton says, Tigers for the upset. I don't think it's out of the world, but I just don't think it happens. But I don't think it's out of this world. I think the Tigers, they can be really good, but more often than not are not really good. And their season has just been absolutely obliterated through that middle part of the year with all the injuries, and then also this media kerfuffle. And it's the same old stuff with the Tigers, unfortunately. Just luckily enough, the Dragons are down the bottom and the Titans are down the bottom, and they got enough wins up their sleeve early on in the season, so at the very least there for the Tigers, they got those wins early season. But unfortunately, it's a bit of a same old story at the moment. Ibrahim says, Javon Andrews must be feeling under extreme pressure considering everything that's going on. Yeah, he's the most unlucky player in all of this situation. He's the one dealing with the harshest situation. Like, at the end of the day, he's just a kid debuting, and he wants to make his team proud and make his family proud and make his club proud for, purchasing him from the Gold Coast Titans, and he wants to go out there and do his best job, but, he'll be hailed as a hero. This will really blow up. There's no world that it doesn't blow up for Adam Doueihi, but it will really blow up for Adam Doueihi if Javon Andrews comes in and absolutely crushes it here today, gets a couple of tries this, or just a couple of tries this in general. Game's kicked off here, guys. Raiders with the ball at the 22 through the Brahm man. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here. So, there's no world that it doesn't blow up. There's no world that it doesn't benefit Adam Doueihi. But there is, I guess Benji will get criticised, but still Doueihi's way of handling will not feel better, regardless if Javon Andrews was poor. But if Javon Andrews kills it here today, it will blow up massively for Adam Doueihi. It'll look even worse than it already does. Forward tackle for the Raiders, and they'll bring this ball now through the Brahm man to the big 50 on fit tackle. Lorenzo says, hi mate, what do you reckon Benji's stint at the Tigers? Do you reckon Benji's stint at the Tigers is basically over? For years, I've said that I think the Tigers fans are very, very hopeful and believing in Benji because of his history at the club and not necessarily because of his actual coaching. They have had some better stints in the last 2 years. However, they still finished in equal fourth last, but fifth last year, despite having the least amount of injuries in the competition, showing that even when they're mainly full strength, they still came fifth last. And then this year, it's pretty much bolted on that they're going to finish in the bottom four, and there's still a potential they could finish in second last or third last kind of deal. I do feel like the thought process in regards to how Benji operates as a coach is misguided based off the fact of the love that they have for him as a player from, back in the early 2000s, mid-2000s, when they won the premiership in 2005 with Benji Marshall. I'm not willing to just say that Benji is just, Javon Andrews really knocked that ball on there, but he'll whack it away to the 10, where the ball's going to bounce over the top here of Jed Stewart. Ends up being an awkward kick there, and really good stuff there for Javon Andrews on his first tackle for the Raiders at the 10. Look, I don't know if it's the coming to an end for Benji as a coach, but I do think that he needs it to work next year. And I find it really unlikely it does work next year, but he needs it to work next year because this year is essentially done. It is. He needs to get it going next year because Tigers fans, you need to expect more than feeling good about coming fifth last and away from last position, because last year felt amazing because you didn't come last for a fourth consecutive year. But you need to hope for and expect more out of your club to be putting yourself up to where you were at the beginning part of the season. Raiders are going to bring this ball to the 50 now on fit tackle. Rage on cases. When was the last time both grand finalists and the minor premiership holder from the previous season failed to make the 8 the following year? I don't think it's ever happened, man. High kick here from the Raiders. A little bit of wind around. Brings it backwards. Raiders will catch it. Ethan Strange. He's going to get another kick away here. And they do. But if it goes for a 7 tackle settle. No, that's a really good kick. Wow. Oh, will it go? No. That's going to be a brilliant kick from Ethan Strange on the second attempt. And now the Tigers will bring it out to the 10 here on first tackle through Dream Buller. Adam Doueihi agrees with Adam Doueihi's stance that, yeah, he would be. I'm sure his family would probably agree with it too. Carl says, hey, Blaze, how you doing, bro? Mate, I'm flying. I'm in Kazakhstan right now, and it's great vibes over here. Beautiful day. The sun over here is just electric, and no, it's awesome being over here, man. And just wish my team was going well so that I could celebrate that whilst also being in a nice little country over here. Good morning, Shauno. Carl says, excited about Javon. Wish you stay with the Titans, though. Sure, but where were you going to put him? Jaden Campbell's the 6. You can't put him anywhere else because Keanu's the fullback, and Zane Harrison was always going to get the 7 over the top of Javon. So at the end of the day, Javon left because we told him there was no real starting position for him. The starting position was always going to Zane Harrison. We've known that for years now, and you can't put him in the 5'8", because if you do that, then Jaden Campbell just can't play because you're not putting him as a 14, and he can't be the fullback because Keanu's there. And if anyone was going to go into the fullback for Keanu, it would be AJ. So there was just no room for Javon Andrews at our club. So it completely makes sense. And that's not me shitting on him. I thought he was really good in that under-19s Queensland game last year. But yeah, was it last year or this year? I think it was last year. Forward tackle, Matty Tomoko is going to bring this ball to the 45 on the Tigers side of the field. Bob James says, there's people saying Benji showing favouritism to Islanders. Oh, dude, this happens all the time, doesn't it? I don't know if I'm going to buy into that conversation. Simi Sasangi, look at the run on him. 30 metres out now, fit tackle. 5 minutes in here. And Tommy Starling is going to go to the left-hand side. And Ethan Sanders, decent kick in a good area here. Tigers will catch it. Dream Buller will get it, and he'll get away from the bra man. And they'll be taken down to the 10 on first tackle. Yeah, I'm not buying into that conversation, man, because this is a common theme that does happen across clubs. I know we dealt with a situation like this at the Titans about 4 years ago, and also 4 years ago now. I'm not buying into that conversation. I'm not doing that. Third tackle now, the 18. G'day, mate. Who you got scoring today? Tomoko and Tupou. What do you reckon? I don't mind a cheeky little Matty Tomoko, to be fair. I'd back in Simi Sasangi, though, on the other centre. Fourth tackle now for the Tigers at the 28. Junior Tupou, sure, but I don't really rate Junior Tupou too much. He was looking like a good talent coming up a while ago. Jerome Luai, they're going to run. What the hell, Jerome Luai? So he decides to run it, and then he throws it too far forward, and Junior Tupou's going to knock this ball on, but that's on Luai. So it'll be Raiders ball here at the 50 after a forward pass / knock on. Raiders ball. They went for a run there and obviously did not pan out there for the old Tigers. Raiders ball at the 50. So yeah, Jitsuba looks pretty good coming up the ranks, but just hasn't really been able to turn it on, whether it be at the Roosters, whether it be the original sin of the Tigers, whether it be the Dolphins, and now he's obviously back at the Tigers. I need to know over 51.5. Let me know something. I would say, I don't know. I don't know. This game could be awful defense, but I just don't know if the attacks are good enough. But the Raiders should be able to score some points here today. Tigers are taking a big risk on Javon. Ethan Strange here brings this ball to the 35. I'd probably more so lean with the over, but I think this could easily be under 2. That's a really tough line. That's really tough. Really tough to give you a solid answer for that one. Morgan Smithies to the 24. I'm getting a gut feeling of under. But I could easily see this being over 2. Fifth tackle now at the 13 for the Raiders' first attacking opportunity of the game. Tom Starling, he go to the left-hand side to Ethan Sanders. Sanders puts up a kick in a good area for Jed Stewart. He catches it and he will score. There's a try time for the Raiders already. On that left wing, Jed Stewart will score, and it is 4-0 here with a kick to come. 4-0 to kick to come. It's a good kick from Ethan Sanders. He's playing a lot better recently. Dan Goldstein says, do we throw in a wobbly? Was really bad optics. Agree. And also, mind you, Noddy, Brett Kamali, came out and said this is not the first time Adam Dewey's done this, mind you. So it's not against his history with Adam Dewey at this club. Jason says, AD just screwed his career. What coach would want him after this? And it's not his first time. Yeah, there you go. Reminds me of Madison at Para. His decision to take the weeks off instead of paying a fine screwed his career. Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah, Ryan Madison did do that. Decide to take the suspension rather than the fine. While you can understand from his perspective, it was the wrong decision. It was the wrong decision in terms of your career. Yeah. But, yeah. I agree. Adam Dewey, the thing is with Adam Dewey, right, is that he is a really good player. He's not a great player. He's a really good player. I just don't think that his decision here... Oh, there's a knock-on from the Tigers either way, but no, I think Chad Stewart catches it cleanly. I think it was knock-on from the Tigers originally, though. But yeah, I think... Yeah, Adam Dewey, I just don't know what coach, would want him now. But he also is a really good player, but he's not a great player that should be trying to dictate stuff like this, if you know what I mean. M.A. Dane says, let's go Raiders, Weeks, Savage, and Hoskins to combine for 2+ tries. Try confirm for the Raiders. Dewey's going to be offered $50,000 and a half-eaten chicken palm at contract negotiation time. I don't think the Tigers are going to want to keep him, man. I really don't. Luke Metcalf did similar to AD. He's different. He's leaving for Dragons because Wise and give him what he wants. Players do this nowadays. Nah, Luke Metcalf's situation is so different, man. The Dragons offered him a better contract, a far more significant contract, and the Dragons offered him a permanent opportunity, whilst Luke Metcalf fell obviously behind Tanner Boyd in the pecking order. I can see where you're trying to draw a similar line there and bring the two together, but no, they are different. Luke Metcalf's situation is nowhere near as bad as Adam Dewey. Nowhere near. Ethan Sanders will miss the kick there and will stay 4-0 here to the Raiders with 9 minutes gone in the game. No, Adam Dewey and Luke Metcalf are very different situations, but I get what you're trying to get at. There. Let's move this back up. Okay, there we go. And he says, afternoon, Blaze and BKR fam. Hope you're doing well. Going all right. Looking forward to getting to a Kazakhstani Premier League game tomorrow between FC Kairat and Urbasa, which is first versus second. That's going to be pretty cool. Jason says, what a job Riles has done from where they were last year. They're now equal with last year's premiers. Yeah, no, fantastic job, Jason Riles. Yeah, no, the Eels are going great guns, Jason. No, they're going amazing, mate. they're going great guns. I love to see that you're striving for, really the real big time. You're striving for the real success. This was a successful season for Para, Jason. Dan says, yeah, Dave, I meant the behaviour is unacceptable in junior footy. It's criminal at top grade. Yep. And come out for Dewey and come out. Outcome for Dewey. Any outcome for Dewey here is going to be the equivalent of him trying to pick up a wet turd from the clean end. Either way, there's pulling his fingers. That is a really odd comment, but fair enough. So Zach Hosking now is going to bring this ball to the 35 on 4 tackle. Then he just signed until 2029. That is true, Kokomu, but I'm sure there will be get-out clauses there. And also, by refusing to play, I'm sure you could get out of a contract. If a player is refusing to play, I'm sure, because that would be against then ultimately a player could just sign a 5-year contract and say, I'm not playing for 5 years and then still get paid out. That's not going to happen. So Dewey's going to be super careful. He's going to be really careful with the situation. Hannah's done a good job this year. Yeah, results-wise and ladder-wise, no. But in terms of how we're feeling about the future, yes. But not in terms of results or... just ultimately season-wise. Zach Hosking's gone down injured. He's going to have to come for a HIA. 10 minutes gone here, 30 minutes to go the first half. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. 10 minutes gone. 4-0 to the Raiders. Zach Hosking's going to have to come off for a HIA. Brenton says, not going there again. Laurie says, get around. Yeah, Laurie. Mitchell says, Tiger tries to stay out of the media for 1 week. Challenge impossible. Again, I think it's a obviously it's a negative, but I think it's a positive that you guys are targeted as heavily as you are, because the media knows that they're going to get the clicks from your fan base, which is a large fan base and a passionate fan base. So whilst it is obviously a negative, the point of the matter is that you do draw in the attention, which... when it all is going well, it'll be amazing for you. But for the time being, unfortunately, it's all in the negative, and the Tigers just keep getting held back by their own doings, but the media just doesn't help it out. Sums up West season. Too many Chiefs, apart from Luai. Pardon the pun. Not enough in... I don't know what's going on there, but that's going to be a penalty to the Tigers. And they're going to be 10 metres away from the line. Corey Horsburgh has hit the kicker. It's just going to be a penalty to the Tigers in a great attacking range. Let's see a Sam Fire try here. So happy side Cottery South gets it to Javon Andrews, and then Javon Andrews gets a little bit of a nudge. Oh, dude, that's such a sad penalty. I know he's not completing the tackle. He's got to wrap his arms around him. It's the right call, but it's just such a sad penalty. Such a sad penalty. Take the 2, Mitchell says. Jeez. Okay, Laurie. 76ers. Oh, yeah, about LeBron. Yeah, no, that's massive. That is massive. 76ers cooking and signing LeBron, and now KCP. KCP, settle. So first tackle now for the Tigers. They're 3 metres away. Let's look for a Samuel Fire try here. Out beside Kotoi Sau. Out to Alex 12. Back to Kotoi Sau. Oh, this is a shambles. Nearly knocked it on, but it'll be second tackle now at the 10. Second tackle at the 10. Jerome Luai with the ball. You got to stand up there, son. Alex Twell, and now Twell is going to be 3 metres away from the line, third tackle. Now, it's always great when your captain, in the middle of a contract, decides to sign for a different team as well. And that'll be Terrell May off to Apisa Kotoi Sau, back to... Wow, that's so bad defense there from the Raiders. Oh my gosh. The Tigers are going to score out of the post here. It's about to be a 6-4 game here to the Tigers. That defense from the Raiders was so bad. So Ethan Roberts is going to score a try. I think that's his first try. Well done to the kid. But that try should never be scored. That was such awful defense from the Raiders. The Tigers had no idea what they were doing on the attack. Look at their attack here. That entire set was a schmozzle. Kotoi Sau, Terrell May. He just walks into the line, gets the offload away, back to Kotoi Sau. It's a complete schmozzle. They don't know anything. And I guess that's why they've scored, because if the Tigers don't know what they're doing, The Raiders definitely don't know what the Tigers are doing, and that's how the Tigers have scored here. Yeah, I can't believe that set resulted in a try. Terrible attack, worse defense. Absolutely, Sugi. Yeah, Ethan Roberts was even surprised that he got through there. Like, that's such poor defense from Canberra. Well, there's that. Forget that gut feeling. This has definitely gone over because both teams' defense is just not good. Did he get the ball down? He's up. Yeah, definitely down. Definitely down. Fun facts is, hey guys, regarding the question earlier if the minor premiers and grand finals have ever missed the finals the following year, the last time this happened was 2005. Last time it happened, Roosters minor premiers and grand finalist losers, and Bulldogs 2004 premiers, neither team made the top 8 in 2005. Yeah, true. Damn. I didn't even know that ever happened, but thanks for letting us know that. I'm going to go back and have a look here quickly. Bulldogs ended up coming 12th and the Roosters ended up coming 9th. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, that's interesting. Well, there you go. Tigers lead 6 points to 4. 6 points to 4. 13 minutes into the game. Ethan Roberts with the try. Very serious channel, Laurie. Very serious. David Watson says Tigers already over their average points the last month, 5.5 points. Yep. Yeah, no, they haven't scored many points recently. They shouldn't have even scored that, but the Raiders were just an absolute schmozzle just now. They shouldn't have even scored that, but at the end of the day, they do get it. So you give them their justified points, but how they've got those justified points is actually insane. It is, if you watch that try happen and unfold, you're just like, how the hell did that happen? But first tackle now for the Tigers, they'll beat the 15. I am actually thinking the Bulldogs-Warriors could be a really good game after this, by the way. I don't know. I just feel something in myself that's telling me that's going to be a cracker game because the Bulldogs need to win the Warriors. They're not exactly the perfect product, but they're still very good. Dream Buller's away. Oh, taking out the 40. Great run from Dream Buller. Third tackle. Maybe they've got a little bit of positive momentum now. And set restart for the Raiders. And set restart for the Tigers. They'll be the 45 on first tackle. Maybe some positive momentum after that early try. Under the post. Alex Twell, he'll be at the 45 on second tackle now. Damn, looking like it's going to be a high-scoring game. Yeah, it does. I had a gut feeling that maybe it might go under, but like the stats say that this should be an over game. Jerome Luai gets taken down here at the 35 on third tackle. Api Koroisau, Dream Buller, short ball, someone to Fainu, and Fainu's going to be 15, fourth tackle. I'll apply this in a second, Willem, because I wouldn't call it a spoon bowl, even though I know why it's been called that. So Jerome Luai, he'll give this off to Koroisau now to Javon Andrews, and Javon Andrews will be 14 metres away from the line, fifth tackle. Tigers, can they go bang, bang? Koroisau, Ethan Roberts again. No, that was awful. Raiders bought the 5. So Willem says, I'm looking forward to the Titans vs Dragons spoon bowl. Here we come. So, yeah, very generous to the Tigers and Eels there, considering that if the Titans win, they go above both those teams. But the reason why I wouldn't call this a spoon bowl tomorrow is because I get that it's last versus second last, right? But the Titans are 3 wins above the Dragons with a far superior points differential. So it's like if the Titans win, they're guaranteed to win the spoon. If the Titans lose, the Dragons still probably just get the spoon because they would need the Titans to essentially lose out and the Dragons to win 3 more games than what the Titans do for the rest of the season. So they need to win another 4 games from this point with the Titans not winning a single game, which is why I find it extremely unlikely. So spoon bowls are typically at 6 again for the Raiders. First tackle, now second tackle to 45. Usually with spoon bowls, it's 2 teams that are quite likely to get the spoon, and it just comes down to that result. Oh, Ethan Sanders right through the line. That's awful defense there from the Tigers. Sanders with the try. Sanders with the TRY2 right time for the Raiders, and this is definitely going to be a high-scoring game because that defense was atrocious from the Tigers. But well done, Ethan Sanders, who's been having a much better last 3 weeks. Jeez, he's been much better these last 3 weeks, man. You know, I'm so glad that I'm not watching every game now, feeling like I'm going to have a heart attack watching Ethan Sanders. And Ziggy says that's a New Zealand halfback right there. Yeah, you know what the best thing is, Ziggy? He's not even a Kiwi. Not even a Kiwi. Bombadoo says, any chance of the Broncos win the final, win it again? We're still doing this, lads. We're still doing this. Okay, so Bombadoo, they need to win 7 out of their remaining 7 games just to make the 8. That's still not a guarantee because their points differential is not good enough, and I guarantee you there'll be multiple teams on 32. The 8th place team probably finishes on 32, which means that points differential will be key. I don't think that the Broncos with the points differential, even if they won all 7 games, I don't think they would get above a team like Manly, who are plus 126 right now. That is like 250 points better than the Broncos. And the Broncos don't have the easiest run home. They have the Cowboys away today, and the Cowboys, they need to win themselves. Yes, without Tom didn't, but it should be a close game. The Broncos have to win 7 out of the remaining 7 games. They've only won 6 games through 20 rounds. They need to win more games in the last 7 rounds than they have through the first 20. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I laugh when we continuously have to have this conversation. It's all about pride for the Broncos this year. It's all right just putting themselves back up into a bit more positive stead, despite the fact they're losing some key players next year. Get the conversion. It's 10-6 to the Raiders. 10-6 to the Raiders. The Broncos have the Cowboys away today, the Knights at home next week, the Dolphins away but at home, the Warriors at home, the Raiders away, the Storm at home, and the Bulldogs away. It is a very... They're playing... The issue with them is they're playing all teams that are fighting for the 8. Cowboys are in 8th. Knights are in 7th and no guarantee. Cowboys obviously no guarantee. Dolphins are in 5th and no guarantee. The Warriors, they're fighting for minor premiership, but they're guaranteed top 8. Raiders, they're in 12th and they're fighting for the top 8. The Storm are in 11th. They're fighting for the top 8. And the Bulldogs are in 10th and they're fighting for the top 8. So it's not like you're playing any teams in the bottom 5, bottom 4. Right now, the Titans, who did beat you in the last game they played at Suncorp, but the Titans or the Dragons or the Eels or the Tigers, you're not playing these teams. You're playing teams that are competitive teams for that top 8. And that's where we get to the point. We'll talk more about this tonight for the Broncos-Cowboys game. That's where you get to the point where you're just like, it's ridiculous we're still talking about this, but I get Broncos fans will be hopeful, but it's ridiculous that we're still talking about this. So 4th tackle now to 45 for the Raiders. Fun fact says if you need to bring up that your team mathematically still has a chance, you may as well call it there. Yeah, I say this all the time. Mathematical probabilities pretty much never hit in real life. No. Like, last year the Broncos... No, last year the Broncos weren't doing mathematical equations, really. Like, they were still there or thereabouts around that top 8 the entire time. Well, not the entire time, second half of the season. But they ended up coming top 4, you know. There's no possibility of them coming top 4 right now. No possibility of them coming anywhere besides 8th position. 8th is their ceiling. And it's very unlikely. But no, I wouldn't say mathematical probabilities and whatnot don't happen. But obviously, you know, when you're getting to this stage of the season, usually it just doesn't. Paddy Herbert, 4th tackle to the 35 on their own side of the field for the Tigers. I knew Tigers would have some fight. Their win-loss record was looking loss. Is that a 40-20? That is a 40-20 from Abby Sakura. Great kick there. Great kick. Yeah, like I said, like I'm tipping the Raiders 13+ here, but I did say, like, if the Tigers come in with the intention to play for their coach in Benji and they want to play for their club in an absolute shambolic time at their club, which is what they usually have to face that adversity all the time, but if they come in with the right intention, they can absolutely win this game. The Raiders are not a perfect team, despite their good form in the last 3 weeks. Dan says, Sanders just hit them with all the secret herbs and spices. Jakes, I feel like the Tigers will pull the trigger on Benji in this last 6 weeks. If this last 6 weeks get even worse. I don't think so. I think they'll give him next year, but I think next year could be his sayonara if it doesn't pan out. Cottawi's out. They'll give it out to Luai. Luai flicks the ball over the top. What the hell is that from Luai? The Tigers are not going to go... He's lost the ball. Oh my gosh. Luai is having a nightmare, bro. Luai is having an actual nightmare. That is horrific. What is he doing? That lofty pass over the top was never on. They're going to challenge this here, the Tigers, but either way, that pass from Luai was never, ever on. I think there's... on-field ruling is into touch. I don't think he went into touch. I think it's a knock-on, though. Players need to look at themselves, not the coach. No, it's definitely both. No, it's definitely both. Mathematically possible usually means impossible. I don't think it usually means impossible, but it usually means extremely unlikely. He's still in. He's just lost the ball. What are they challenging? Maybe they're successful in regards to going into touch, because I don't think he went into touch, but it's a knock-on. 20 minutes gone here. 20 minutes to go the first half. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Yeah, this isn't a strip. This is just a lost ball. Oh, I get what they're arguing. They may deem this as a stripping. They're saying he's purely on the ball and this isn't a strip. Like, he's not... Oh, Tigers fans will be pissed off here, but I think they're going to make the call that this isn't a strip. His hand isn't actually on the ball for a stripping motion. Yep, they're going to say this is an unsuccessful challenge. Tigers fans will be pissed off here. Tigers fans will be pissed off, and I get it. I'd be pissed off if it was the Titans. But his hand isn't on the ball like this to strip it out. Like, Xavier Savage knows what he's doing there. Like, Xavier Savage, he knows exactly what he's doing there with his hand and with the ball motion taking it out. But technically speaking, it's probably not a strip. But I get why you'd be pissed off. Laurie said Broncos got more buy points. Oh, no, not this buy point conversation again, please. Please don't do this again. Let's see what will happen with the Broncos. What do you mean, let's see what will... This is the problem with these Broncos fans, man. Like, did you not listen to a word that I just said? What do you mean, let's see what will happen with the Broncos? What is so difficult to understand about needing 7 wins from your remaining 7 games when you've only got 6 wins through 20 games? It's like I'm speaking to a wall with Broncos fans, I reckon. I think maybe they think I'm being biased or something like that when I'm just laying the stats out for you. Like, what do you mean? Like, you put the smiley face there, like, to say, well, you'll see. Okay, well, show me. Go and show me. You got to start by beating the Cowboys set up in North Queensland. Third tackle, you're going to start with that one. But also, again, even if you get to 32 points, even if I give you the 7 wins out of 7, which is more wins than you've had this season, you still aren't guaranteed because your points differential. Fourth tackle now at the 20. I feel like I'm talking to a wall with Broncos fans. Ethan Sanders, they go out to the left-hand side. No, Ethan Strange, sorry. Now Zach Hotting at the 10. Fifth tackle, left-hand side. Ethan Strange, stepping. And that will be a try time. That is awful defense there from the Tigers, but really good work there from Ethan Strange. Really good work from Ethan Strange, but I still think the Tigers should have been doing better there. They had to force him to get that ball away. And it'll be 14 points to 6 of the kick to come, and it's about to be 16-6 any moment now. Ziggy says, I'm always hesitant to blame signings of players on lack of form, but Luai, although he wasn't setting the world on fire before PNG, has gotten so much worse since the signing. Yeah, he's been really poor for the Tigers. The only game he had a good game against was the Titans, and it's like, well, you're not really proving yourself a great deal against the Titans. But yeah, you know, he has been... I wouldn't say that Luai's been amazing for the Tigers anyway. I really wouldn't. If I was to say who's been better on form, it'd definitely be Adam Dewey, but also, you know, Adam Dewey's not in a great light right now. Mitchell says, Broncos fans make Lakers fans sound smart. The thing is, 14-6 the Raiders, kick to come, is that, again, I don't blame Broncos fans for having belief in their team, but it's like they just ignore all the stats that point to why everybody else is telling you, like, it's just not really going to happen. Like, it's like they asked the question, will the Broncos make the A? Or will they make the final? That question was about the final, by the way. The Panthers was a great win, but it's like everything we say as a response is just not accepted as legitimate discussion or legitimate conversation in regards to why we don't believe it to be the case. And it's like, now we're just waiting. It's not even about hating the Broncos. It's just about waiting for that one loss now. And I guarantee you there'll be Broncos fans who try to make the argument of, 30 points will be enough to make the top 8 this year. You know what I mean? Jaden says they also need teams above them to lose. Sort of. Like, at the end of the day, 32 points is usually just what it ends up being. 34 points is what it could be this year. 16-6, they get the conversion. It could be 34 points, which would then justify what you're saying. But if you get to 32 points, not really is my answer to you, but it would just depend on points differential, because 32 is, irregardless of win-losses here and there and everywhere, 32 is the points that typically you'll get into the top 8. It actually, a few years back, was 28, and then it was 30, and now it's 32. And again, it could end up being in 34. If it's 34, then yes, they would have needed teams to lose. But if it's 32, they can still mathematically get there, which would then mean it would come down to points differential. So I guess it comes down to the points differential of a loss rather than the loss itself, if you know what I'm saying. Other says, I feel so sorry for anyone supporting the Tigers. I agree. I definitely agree. Just another human says, can't imagine being a professional athlete and ruling myself out. No, I agree with that too. 100%. Coach gets final say. So the Raiders now will bring this ball to the 30 on 4 tackle. Rex Halloway says, Tigers used every ounce of luck to win the 05 comp and basically been cursed ever since. A lot of people, I was pretty young. I was 11 years old at the time. I was pretty young. My nan, she was a Tigers fan. I remember it happening and whatnot, but obviously being 10, 11 years old, you're still super young and you don't fully comprehend everything that's going on, even though you think you do. A lot of people say the Tigers won it out of turn, similar to what the Broncos did last year. And I would agree, the Broncos won it out of turn last year, but fully deserved to win last year too. And I would say the same thing about the Tigers. They would have fully deserved to win it, but they did kind of win it out of turn, is what people have argued. So for the older generation who were, completely could fully comprehend back in 2005 and the ins and outs and all that type of jazz, do you have that same opinion, or did the Tigers, were they just dominant throughout and they completely deserved it from the out? Bro's pushing 30. Who, me? You talking about me? Bro's pushing 30? Is that who you're talking about? Roger says, game is over, might as well play the final now. Panthers versus some team. Panthers. Oh, Raiders will drop the ball, but it goes backwards, and it'll be Simi Sasangi. Okay, so first, Simi Sasangi's away here. He's away here. He's got Kyle Weeks. See you later, see you later, see you later, see you later, see you later. Kyle Weeks, see you later. See you later, Kyle Weeks. See you later, Kyle Weeks. He's at the 30, the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10, and that is a try tie for Kyle Weeks, son. Kyle Weeks, what a player. Kyle Weeks, what a player, man. Sorry, I was just so confused about a mathematical equation there that is awful, but also shows your age. Maybe M&D, 05, you're 11, so that makes you 30. Okay, so M&D, I'm going to need you to go back to school, my man. I'm going to need to... I'm going to need you to go back to school there, brother. But Kyle Weeks, what a try. See you later. See you later. It goes backwards there from Kyle Weeks. Simi Sasangi is going to pick this ball up at the 3. This is a 97-metre try here. Simi Sasangi breaks through the line. And as soon as Kyle Weeks gets this ball, Dream Baller had some good speed on him to keep up with Kyle there, but still Kyle just finds a way to get past him. You can say the top 4 from 1997 didn't make the top 8 in 1998, but 1997 was the Super League ARL split competition. There was no top 4 technically, yeah. It definitely goes backwards there from Simi Sasangi before the Tigers fans complain. It's going backwards. BKR is everyone's favourite uncle now. Yeah. No, yeah, Simi Sasangi's never got a hand to it, but it's going backwards. What do you mean we've got a problem here, commentary? Why would that go to the bunker? It's going backwards the entire time. The commentary is saying that they think this is a knock-on. Am I blind here? Maybe I'm blind, but I think that's going backwards from Simi Sasangi the entire time. It's going backwards. He has to even come backwards to get the ball. Like, how can that be a knock-on? It's literally coming backwards off of his fingers. Bang. He has to come backwards to get it. The ball's coming backwards. It definitely comes backwards. So MND, I'm getting the feeling that you're a teenager right now with some of these responses. What I'm going to advise you here, man, is that this channel is... This channel, we have a bit more of an older audience. At the end, they try confirmed. Yeah, I don't know what the commentary is talking about. I think you got to read the room a little bit, man, because one, you're incorrect in regards to your maths, and now you're trying to save yourself with that comment there. But I'm just going to give you slight little warning here that if you're going to try and go the troll route, you won't last long, is what we'll say here. Trey Horn says, Kyle Weeks is such an exciting player. It's a shame sometimes he's on the Raiders. Yeah, Kyle Weeks can be amazing. Sometimes he can have some rough ones, but he can have these really long-range tries like this, which is brilliant. Colin Power says, go my green machine. How are you, brother? Yeah, no, going all right, mate. Yeah, obviously, the season is getting to the thick part now. We're seeing the Raiders chasing home for a top 8, and same with the Bulldogs, and same with Manly still, and the top 8 is still not sorted, and the top 4 is still not sorted. So, yeah, no, lot going on right now, and this is the juicy time. This is the juicy time. Bratty says, expect more from Buller there. Got to wrap him up. Yeah, I thought Buller was actually going to get him at one stage, but... just too good there from Kyle Weeks. Luai stops running. Jesus, Tigers back to normal. Oh, they've been this way for a while now, man. But again, yeah, it's 22-6. They got the conversion, the Raiders, and this is looking a little bit rough there. It's looking big old Ruffamundos as we currently speak for the Tigers. Rodder says 64. I'm 64, seeing it all. Yeah, and I love this. Like, at the end of the day, our audience, for the most part, this is nothing against any of the younger lads that are watching on, and young people in general, because we do have some young girls who watch on. But regardless, like, it's actually really cool that we have a really diverse crowd here that are pretty much typically above like 25 and above, but more even often than not, we have a lot of people who are 40, 50, 60. And we've even got some 70-year-olds who watch this channel, and I think it's awesome that regardless, like, obviously we're extremely passionate here and we get crazy and all that kind of jazz, and you've seen it all, but it's great that we can transcend through the different eras and transcend through the different ages where everyone's coming together here and having a good time watching the old rugby league. William says, hi, Blaze. We go 50-6 Raiders, shit team, shit club, and guess who AD manager is totally over this? Yeah, we all know about the old Isaac Moses. What a player. 90s, let's go. Don't know if we have a 90-year-old watching the channel, but that'd be pretty awesome to hear. Just Another Human says, diversity good, just don't be a dick. That's absolutely prime time. That's a great comment, that. Yeah, diversity is amazing, just don't be a dick. Fantastic stuff. Really weird comment there, G, to say, is there any 12-year-olds? That's a bit of a strange comment. But you do you, boss. Oh, Sanders knocks the ball on. The Tigers will get this one now at the 40 on zero tackle. Morning, 56, but still act like a 10-year-old, personally. Yeah, Daniel, the older you get, the more that you stop seeing people refer to, like, age as in, like, how you should act. Because, honestly, especially with men, mentally you never really grow up. Like, you have more experience and you have a better understanding about a lot of things. Luai's pass again was just atrocious. My goodness. Luai's been shocking. The older you get, the more you realise that you're still extremely young at heart, regardless of how old you do get. It's just that it comes down to you're experienced. You're more experienced, but, we're all... I'll see on Faianu, Jerome Luai, Samuela Faianu, and he will get this ball now to the 38 on 4 tackle. I hope my brain always stays this same way in regards to feeling that energy and having fun and having a bit of a laugh and whatnot. I never want to be an old man just kind of grumpy, sitting in a corner of a room and just hating the world. You know what I mean? Like, I want to keep this kind of vibrant attitude. 1 second. Is this a try for the Tigers? Alex Seyfarth, I think, has scored a try. He has, out of nowhere. The Rays have given up 2 really odd tries here. No, I get... So, G says, didn't mean that weird. We were just talking about age in the channel. Was just asking if there's kids here. Well, firstly, you're not meant to be a kid on YouTube. It just comes across really strange, bro. I'm not insinuating anything bad. I'm just saying it's a bit of a weird comment to the first thing to say is, do we have any 12-year-olds here? Honestly, we might. It's just they're not meant to be on YouTube. They're not meant to be here because technically in Australia, obviously, you have to be 16 or above. But a try time here for the Tigers. Javon Andrews puts this into a good area where the Raiders drop the ball, and Alex Seyfarth will just come through, and he will score. Yeah, he will score. Kaya Weeks is going to dive for the football here, but what is... Oh, no, it's a knock. Oh, does that come off the fingers there of Falatina Tavana? Yeah, I'm still 25. My body is fucked at 64, yeah. That's the only difference, man. Maybe Tavana knocks this ball on. It's going to be close. Because Seyfarth definitely puts the ball down. I don't know if you're going to be able to prove that Tavana touches this. Oh, I think that right hand's going to slap at it late, which would be... It probably is going to be just a raised knock on anyway. But I think Tavana's right hand probably touches this. It's going to be very close anyway. Scotty James with the $2 Who the Nation. Get around your Scott for the dono. Which 2 teams make the grand final? Yeah, this is going to come back for a knock on. Bunker's coming in. Which 2 teams make the grand final? Thanks. So thank you for the dono. The reason I smile at this is because it's the first time that I haven't seen you reference the Brisbane Broncos in a donation or a comment. But I'm thinking it's probably going to be Panthers and... 1 second. Oh, this is going to be a knock on Tigers first. This is a knock on Tigers first here. They're going to say this is a knock on first Tigers. 1 second, Scott. Yep, knock on Tigers. It's going to be Raiders ball to 10, no try. I've got Panthers grand final, and then it comes down to Warriors, Roosters, Sharks. Honestly, I think most people will just look at the Warriors and Panthers. I just don't know in regards to Cronulla. I just don't know if I can back in Cronulla. But, like, if they play to the standards that we saw against the Dolphins, we play the standards we know they can achieve. Realistically speaking, like, they could be there. But, like, I'd still probably... the Roosters maybe find a way to get to the grand final. I don't know. You know what? I think a real smoky that nobody really is predicting is probably the Sharks, because they're very unpredictable. But Roosters would probably be your safer bet, and the Warriors would probably be... Like, if you're talking in a power ranking situation of who probably makes grand final, you go Panthers 1. You'd go probably Roosters 2nd, even though they're not convincing, but at least getting wins. You'd go Warriors 3rd. You'd go Sharks 4th, Dolphins 5th kind of deal, which I guess is pretty much what the top 5 is. And then that's pretty much it for me. I just don't see Rabbitohs, Cowboys, Knights, Manly, Bulldogs kind of deal getting there. Short lines, Broncos come back to back. We're not doing this. Fun facts says, well done to Andrews. He seems to be doing well so far. Yeah, he's giving it a crack. That's all you can expect from him in his debut. Oh, that's a floating bomb. Really tough kick there to take for the Tigers, but they will get at the 20 through Dream Buller. Would Manly be a good dark horse to make the finals? They're not even really a dark horse to make the finals with their plus 126 points differential. Dark horse to win a grand final, I would disagree. But in regards to making the finals, they're a great chance to make the finals. They're probably actually quite likely to make the finals on the basis that they've got a plus 126 points differential. Right, Senses, I hope that it's new teams, Dolphins, Warriors, Sharks, anyone but Melbourne, Panthers or Broncos. Well, we know the Broncos aren't going to be there. We also know Melbourne aren't going to be there. I wouldn't hold your breath in regards to Broncos not being there. Willem says, if our defense is terrible, we just need to outscore them. Yeah, but the Tigers in the last month have scored, like, inclusive of this, 10 points. And 10 minutes to go here, the first half, guys. Hit that like button and subscribe. The Tigers will whack this ball down here to the 15, and Kaya Weiss grabs it. Like, you're right, but also you're not really known to be a high-scoring team. Who am I liking, Doggies or Wires? I'll take the Wires. But I think that's going to be a belter of a game. I think it's going to be a really close game. Then it says, I'd love to see New Zealand win it. I don't remember watching when they last got to the grand final, but the time before in 2003 or whatever it was when they had a mad run and went very close versus the Panthers, but finished runners. They lost in 2000, the Warriors, I think it was. Was it 2000 or 2001? But it was 2011 when they lost to Manly in the grand final. Was it 2001 or was it 2000? No, 2001 was the Knights Eels. 2000, it might have been 2002 actually. Yeah, 38 to the Roosters. Yeah, that's right. So this is going to be a Tigers ball here at the 10. Yeah, 2002 against the Chooks. Yeah, they didn't. I knew it wasn't against the Panthers. That's why I wanted to go back and check it. Yeah, 2002 they lost to the Roosters. They got drubbed by the Roosters. In 2011, they also made it against Manly, but got drubbed by Manly, 24-10. So second tackle now. I remember when Manly played the Warriors in 2011 grand final, my dad, who's a passionate Manly fan, I've got no relation to New Zealand. I did the haka in front of him before the grand final. I learnt the haka and then did the haka in front of him before that grand final. So it's going to be a penalty to the Tigers here coming out of their own end at the 20. Penalty to the Tigers. 2003 Panthers won, yeah. DMEI says no suspension for Alex Twal. No suspension for Alex Twal. No. No suspension. But no, I did the haka in front of him. I literally spent like a day learning it before that grand final. And then it's funny because myself and my stepbrother at the time, we got so drunk that I passed out like half time. We both did. We both did. This was well before YouTube. This was a much different time in the world at that time. And that's penalty to the Raiders. Oh my gosh, Tigers. This is a schmozzle. This is a schmozzle. Penalty to the Raiders for an obstruction from the Tigers. This is just turning out to be a nightmare here, Tigers. This has turned out to be an absolute nightmare. Any chance Penrith will miss the grand final? I think it's extremely unlikely, but sure. I think maybe. Oh, really? That's an obstruction, is it? Really? I think that's a pretty rough call. If Wars have to win tight games in the finals through field goals or conversions, then it could be Roosters or Sharks versus Panthers grand final. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking. Like, at the end of the day, the Warriors are good, but are they good enough to take the next step? And do they have the attack? The attack is the biggest question for mine against the big-time teams. They go to the right-hand side. Xavier Savage, see you later. Too easy of a try. This is going to be a blowout. 26-6 here with the kick to come, and he will run it in closer as well. Xavier Savage, way too easy in that right wing. 26-6 with a kick to come. But Ingos is going to be the most Luai thing ever to shush the haters, and then his team loses their next 6, probably more. Yeah, shush the haters after a come-from-behind win against second-last Titans. And then, yeah, Luai's been awful today. He's been horrific to watch today. Horrific to watch. Luai has been horrific to watch. Whilst I personally disagree with Luai staying in the team over Dewey, I don't agree at any stage with what Dewey's done. But I do personally disagree in regards to Luai not being the one dropped instead of in Dewey. Rip Tiger betters. Well, why'd they bet on the Tigers though, Eric? What was the reasoning behind betting on the Tigers in this game? Fun fact says, Manly apparently have been cursed for preventing Sean Johnson from winning the 2011 premiership. That's what many Warriors fans have been saying. Oh, for gosh sake. Okay, Warriors fans. To be fair, Manly have won a premiership every decade since their inception. This is the only decade they haven't won yet. But that's outrageous. Oh yes, Warriors, you curse them by Manly winning the grand final. I think they'll take that curse. Zoyan says he's been bad his entire time at the Tigers. I don't disagree with that either. I don't disagree with it either. Ricky Stewart coaching against his favourite player, Alex Twell. Well, no, his favourite player would be Jamin Salmon, mate. Big Jamin Salmon fan, the old Sticky Ricky. Massive. I think Luai was only good at Penrith because he plays alongside Cleary. Yeah, well, Samoa as well. Luai's been great for Samoa and also obviously was great at the Panthers. I also, do think that he was carried quite heavily by Nathan Cleary, and I think that's what Blaze Lungy is struggling with right now, where at the very least with Luai, so it's going to be a conversion, 28-6 here to the Raiders with 5.5 minutes to go here in the first half. At the very least with Luai, he still played to a very quality level alongside Cleary, despite the fact that Cleary was the main man. Now, Luai has left Panthers to prove that he is the player. Without Cleary, it hasn't really panned out at all. Blaze Lungy is still... One second. Blaze Talungi still has not proven himself alongside Cleary, and it seems like he is coasting alongside Cleary. It seems like he is just believing that Cleary is the guy, which he is, and is just kind of sitting alongside as he expects Cleary to do all the hard work. I have been so disappointed with Blaze Talungi this year. I called him as a breakout play for the Panthers, and he has regressed as a player in terms of that 5/8, and I feel like they would be far better with, if Luai was there, obviously, even though I don't rate him here at the Tigers. But Blaze Lungy has been probably my biggest disappointment as a player in 2026 from my expectations pre-season. So they go to the left-hand side, Zach Hosking. Zach Hosking now be the 45-4 tackle. In your honest opinion, do you think the Panthers dynasty ends when Ivan leaves, or do you think their praised star-producing factory keeps them competitive? I still think they'll be competitive, but I don't think they'll be anywhere near as dominant because they are losing even more players now. And they've been really well and really good. That's a penalty here to the Tigers at the 20. They've been really good in regards to producing more talent. But, eras do come to an end. Look at the Storm. Well, look at the Storm. Their era has come to a pretty abrupt end. And now they're, probably going to be losing Munster to Papua New Guinea. There's a lot of talk about that one. Craig Bellamy even openly speaking about that now. There's Jerome Hughes has been in the media for a while now talking about potentially going elsewhere. Harry Grant could easily just go back to Queensland. Craig Bellamy is obviously going at the end of this year due to his health conditions and whatnot. So, eras come to an end, and we have to just wait and see how that next era comes and if they've got the successful... for example, look at Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA, right? They were the worst franchise in history until about, 10 years ago? Maybe 6 years ago, and then now they are just so dominant. They aren't winning every single year, but they've got themselves set up for the next 20 years. with draft picks, and they already won the championship 2 years ago, or the last year's one. And their era has completely changed. Look at the Bulls. They were the most dominant team ever in 1990s. Falatino Havana out of nowhere will score a try. 28 points to 10 with a kick to come, and the Tigers are in. 28-10, kick to come from the sideline to make it 28-12. The Bulls are the most dominant team nearly of all time, and then completely, fell away. Completely fell away in, post 2000s until Derek Rose came, and then obviously Derek Rose's injury slapped him, and now they've just been shocking since. So the point is that eras do finish. Right, since Peter Wallace is next up after Ivan, right? I think so. Oh, here we go. Huatau Tehau says, good on Dewey for taking a stand. Why didn't Benji put the all-inspiring captain in the lock forward role? Okay, so Huatau, I'm gonna press you on this because I don't agree with what Benji's done in terms of moving Dewey. But my biggest gripe is good on Dewey for taking a stand. I completely disagree with that. Please explain why you believe what Dewey has done here is a positive. Because I've not seen a single person actually making a defense of a player who is contracted to the club refusing to play because he doesn't get exactly what he wants. I don't see anybody defending it. So I actually am interested to hear why you agree with a player deciding not to play out of his own volition because he doesn't necessarily agree with the coach's thought process. Because I disagree with you. That doesn't mean that I agree with what Benji's decision-making was, but that I definitely don't agree in regards to you saying good on him for taking a stand. Yep, and he has done it before, Dan. And they will miss the kick, so it will stay 28-10 into the Raiders with a minute 43 to go here the first half. Fun fact says, yep, Salmon gave it back to the Raiders when the Panthers rolled them in 2022. He scored the last try in that match. Trey says, in my opinion, I feel like OKC Seattle just never lived up to their potential, and then Prest acquiring a treasure hoard of picks have set them up exponentially. Exactly right. So the year has changed. The year has come to an end, and the year has begin. And one day, OKC, I don't know when, but OKC will fall at some point. At some point. I forgot to say, keep both May and Twal and Dewey, but they need to rebuild around them while they are in the Tigers. I don't think Dewey has got a great sense of belief from this Tigers team as we currently speak. Minute 40 to go here, first half. Anybody says, you play where you were asked to, full stop, get on with it. I agree. So the Tigers now will go to the right-hand side. Alex Seyfarth is now going to be at the 10 on first tackle. Alex Seyfarth, well, that's a penalty, surely. No, they don't call it. Apiso Kotoi-Sau to Paddy Herbert, and Paddy Herbert now brings his ball to the 25 on second tackle. Geez, the defence in this game is definitely lacking massively. That'll be Javon Andrews out to Jerome Luai. Luai to Dream Buller. Dream Buller gets it across here. They're away. The Tigers. Oh, taken down to the 40. Still going. No, and they'll be taken out to the 30 now on third tackle. This is a great setting from the Tigers. Getting a little bit of momentum at the back end of this first half. They'll get across to Luai. Really slow, though. Really slow there. Sione Fainu. He'll take this ball to the 30. Kotoi-Sau, 6 again. Huge. Massive. Alex Twal now. Alex Twal, a little bit of footwork. He'll take him down to the 20 on first tackle. A try here keeps this game on. It'll be only a 12-point game if they get the conversion. Kotoi-Sau. They go to the right-hand side of the Jerome Luai. Luai at the back here to Javon Andrews. Javon Andrews, nice little footwork there. Second tackle at the 15, sorry. Kotoi-Sau. He'll go to the left-hand side to Sione Fainu. Sione Fainu out to Jerome Luai. At the back again. That's going to hit the grass, and that's going to be a knock-on from the Raiders. So it's still going to be play on here. No, it's going to be... No, they're going to... play it on. Kotoi-Sau. No, they're going to say knock-on Tigers first. They don't have a challenge either. Huatau says, Luai is getting what he wants, and he's the captain that's not performing. Dewey has been their best player, according to some. Okay, cool. And not disagreeing with this. I think that Luai is probably the best one to be removed from the situation. Like I said, I don't agree with Benji and his decision-making, but that doesn't mean that I think that Adam Dewey has the right and ability. Well, I guess he has the right, but it doesn't mean that it is right. He has the ability to withdraw himself, but also the coach is there to make the decisions. He holds the responsibility. He holds the accountability for his decisions. It shouldn't be up to the player to say, shit, I'm not playing this game because you're telling me that I'm going to play in a position that I don't necessarily want to play in. At the end of the day, you sign on for the club, you sign on until 2029, you play where you're damn well told to play. You can disagree with Benji in regards to who he is playing, but the action of what Adam Doueihi has done is not defensible. It is not defensible from a player saying, I'm not going to play because I'm not getting what I want. It is such a dangerous precedent to set, because then we're going to see players actually ultimately taking over from a coach. What's the point of a coach if they're not going to listen to the coach? If you want to make an argument for Benji just lost the dressing rooms, then feel free to do that. But at the end of the day, Adam Doueihi should not be doing what he is doing here. He should not be doing that, regardless if he believes he is the right man for it, which obviously he does. Regardless if you or anybody else believes he's the right man for it, because I believe that it should have been Jerome Luai that probably should have been making way, considering that as the captain, he's decided to go to Papua New Guinea midway through his contract. I get that. It's just the action. It's just the action of what Doueihi's doing that is disgraceful, in my opinion, and has really thrown the Tigers completely out of whack as per usual. But anyway, let's get into the chat. Not the chat, sorry. Let's get into the stats here and see how this game is playing out at halftime. Obviously, the Raiders lead 28-10 with 40 minutes to go. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Keep getting involved in the chat. I'll be back with you in a moment. So Raiders 28, Tigers 10. This is at GIO Stadium in Canberra. The tries, Jed Stewart, Ethan Sanders, Ethan Strange, Kyle Weeks, and Xavier Savage for the Raiders, with Ethan Sanders on 4 from 5 of the conversions. The Tigers, Ethan Roberts and Falatino Tavana with tries. Apisai Kotowi Sau is the 1 from 2 on the conversions. You go to the possession, 52% possession to the Raiders, 48% possession here to the Tigers. Very equal there, slightly in favour of the Raiders, but very equal. But what's disappointing here is the time in possession, because you're looking for 25 minutes here. There has been 7 tries scored, which is why this is going to be like this. But, you know, the free-flowing footy is not exactly there. 25 minutes is the threshold. 12 minutes 48 for the Raiders. 11 minutes 53 for the Tigers. That's 23 minutes. It's about 24 and a half. You would still like to see it bumped up, but ultimately, that is because of all the tries that have been scored. Completion rate, you're looking for 80% here. 94% is what the Raiders have got. Unbelievable stuff. Basically perfect. 18 from 19. It is spectacular. Whilst the Tigers are at 76% for 13 from 17. It's not quite there. You know, they are below the 80% marker. It's not awful, but it's below the 80% marker. Now, both teams here have 79 runs, and one team leads by 240 metres. So 79 runs for the Raiders for 893 run meters. You are looking for 10 meters in average per run. You are looking for 790 meters through 79 runs. They're at 893. They are up by 103 meters on the 10 meters in average per run that you're looking for the Raiders. 103 meters. That is a lot. Wow. They are annihilating. Now it's 80 for 904. They are annihilating the run meters as we speak. If they were at if they were at 100 runs, my gosh, like they would be just demolishing this game. Whilst the Tigers at 79 runs, again, you're looking for 790 metres, 651 on the run metres. So they are 139 run metres behind the 10 metres an average per run. You've got one team 104 above. Now it's 80 for 657 here for the Tigers. You've got one team 104 metres above it, which is amazing. You got one team 143 metres now behind the 10 metres average per run. The Raiders are winning the run metre department by 250 odd metres. That is insane. That is insane. The Raiders are killing it. Post-contact metres, 246 here for the Raiders, 198 there for the Tigers. So that's not good for the Tigers, not even be at 200. I would probably want a little bit more from the Raiders too, but at the end of the day, 256, 198, they're up by 50 with the same amount of runs. That is huge in the post-contact game. Line breaks though, 4-3 Raiders way, so quite high for both those teams. Tackle breaks though, only 14 apiece. Both teams want to get up 14 tackle breaks. It's not bad defense, even though it's 28-10. Average set distance, 25 metres and below is pathetic to the stream off. 25 to 30 is disgusting. 30 to 35 is underwhelming. 35 to 40 is hitting the marker. 40 to 45 is great. 45 to 50 is fantastic. And 50 plus is basically perfect. 47.63 here for the Raiders is fantastic. You know, you're not asking for too much more than that. If they got an extra 2.5 metres, that'd be perfect. But 47.63 is awesome. Whilst the Tigers are at 38.7, which is in the hitting the job category. So they are about 9. They are exactly 9 metres behind the Raiders right now. One's fantastic. One's doing the job. Raiders are clearly winning this department. You got the average play the ball speed, 3.19 seconds and below is extremely fast, 3.2 to 3.39 is fast, 3.4 to 3.59 is average, 3.6 to 3.79 is slow, and 3.8 and above is extremely slow. 3.46 seconds here for the Raiders is average normal speed, whilst the Tigers at 3.63 seconds is in the slow category. So that is a decent enough gap, but like it's still only 0.17 seconds away from each other, but it's decent enough in rugby league. But the Raiders are winning this stat as well. Offloads, 4 for the Tigers, still quite low, but still quite low. 2 for the Raiders is very low. Kick refusal is 67% for the Tigers, 0% for the Raiders. 40-20, 1 for the Tigers. And then the effective tackle percentage. Now, 85% and below is awful. 85% to 88% is underwhelming. 88% to 90% is hitting the marker. And 90% and above is perfect. Well, you'll be surprised by these numbers. So the Raiders, 86.14%. Have only given up the 10 points. 143 tackles made is below the typical range of 160 to 180 by 17. 143 tackles made is quite well below the average. 14 missed tackles is also below the average of 15 to 17. And then the 9 effective tackles is above the average of 5 to 7 by 2. So 23 bad tackles through a below average tackles made is not great. It's underwhelming. That's why they're at 86.14%. The Tigers are actually at 91.5%, despite the fact they've given up 28 points here. That's actually basically perfect. That's brilliant. 183 tackles made is above the typical range of 160 to 180 by 3. The missed tackles is the same as the Raiders, with 14 missed tackles, 1 below the average of 15 to 17. And the ineffective tackles is 3, so 2 below the average of 5 to 7. So with an extra 40 tackles made for the Tigers, they've made the same amount of missed tackles, but far less of 6 ineffective tackles less than the Raiders. So the Tigers defensively in the first half weren't actually bad in regards to missing tackles. It's just the line breaks that have absolutely crushed them. 4 line breaks of the Raiders has come from players not touching them. They haven't even been able to miss the tackle because they're not in range to even make a tackle. So they're just getting beaten as a team collective, as an individual. They're not actually really getting beaten as players. It's the team that are failing to cover the gaps where the Raiders are finding too open of a gap. And that's what you saw with Xavier Savage. And that's what you saw with like Kai Weeks and whatnot when they broke away. They didn't miss the tackles. Dream Border, I guess, missed the tackle there. But they didn't really miss the tackles. It's just that ultimately the Raiders are finding massive space along the team collective line. And the effective tackle percentage is an individual stat. You go to the errors though. 3 and below is really good. 4 to 6 is average. And 7 above is awful. Raiders at 1, that's perfect. 4 errors for the Tigers is average. 4 errors, there's not that many errors. This scoreline's actually quite odd considering a few of these stats, except for the run meters. 4-1 errors Tigers is still not too bad, but amazing for the Raiders. Penalties conceded, 3-1 for the Raiders. Quite high there for the Raiders, really low for the Tigers. Ruck infringements, 3-2 against the Tigers. And then inside 10 metres is 1-0 against the Tigers. So overall, it's 5-5 in regards to indiscretions. And then 1 on report for the Raiders. Realistically speaking, Tigers' defence actually hasn't been that bad today on an individual level. Very good. Just on a team level, it's been awful. Errors are still a lot more than the Raiders, but it's not bad for the Tigers. But the run meters, they're just getting absolutely crushed. 81 runs each, and it's now 913 metres for the Raiders and 672 metres for the Tigers. 240 odd metres separating. That's crazy. So, look, I've got the Raiders I did tip the Raiders 13 plus in this game. I do think the Raiders go away with the win here. But, realistically, a lot of these stats actually say that Tigers haven't been as bad than the scoreline actually represents, but yet the Raiders have clearly been a better team. Mitchell says, are you going to pay him minimum wage at the Bunnies, or what did Bunnies say? Well, Dewey isn't happy with the Tigers. Ziggy says, do you really want Dewey back after what he has pulled more than once at the Tigers? I think the Rabbitohs are not a bad shout for him. And I think that knowing that Isaac Moses is the manager of Adam Dewey, I feel like this is probably a deliberate ploy to give him the opportunity to get out of a contract. This is such an Isaac Moses thing to do. It's such an Isaac Moses thing. It would not surprise me if this is all an intentional ploy to force an out of contract to go play for a team like the Rabbitohs, or a team like the Papua New Guinea Chiefs, or a team like the Perth Bears, where he's going to get more money. I don't think he'll get more money at the Rabbitohs, but where he'll get more money at those other 2 clubs, and he might believe there's a better chance to win a comp. I feel like knowing that it's Isaac Moses who is the manager probably is quite likely. Tiger Hood says, I'm with you, Blaze. You sign a contract, you play it out. Your word is your bond. Yeah, like at the end of the day, loyalty isn't really taken by clubs. So it's like players shouldn't be expected to do it. But if you sign a contract on both ends, realistically, it should play out unless there is a clause there that can remove it. I think this is an intentional potential ploy to move to a club that he believes is better. Coach the coach for a reason, yeah. DM says, I remember when Wayne put Dewey on the wing, he played badly, but he was there. Yeah, I guarantee he wouldn't have wanted to be there, though, because Noddy said that he had this issue with Adam Dewey when he was the interim at the Tigers. Benny West says, Moses Mitchell moved clubs because he had no faith in his teammates. Other one says, if Cody does initially retire, then it'll be Ashton with Dewey. I do think that there is an intentional play here to get out of contract. Tigers going to finish below the Dogs again. Galvin was not the problem. Well, this just has no relation to each other, does it, Daz? It just doesn't. Interesting if Luai and AD end up together at Papua New Guinea. Surely not. Surely not. Surely they're going to at least give a halves partner. Oh, but then Munster is being potentially signed by Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea are coming in potentially for Munster. So you might have Munster and Luai there. I don't think AD is on the cards at Papua New Guinea, but I guess Perth and the Rabbitohs are a chance. David says Munster will be 6 at PNG. Yeah, I agree. M&D says all my people who gambled on the games this weekend looks nice to be a punter. It does. Do you think the Warriors will score more than 22 points? Their attack's not amazing, but yeah, I probably do. Could easily be an 18-14 game though, but yeah, they definitely could, and in their books they should be getting more than 22. Joe Martin, the PNG Chiefs. Everyone's going to the Chiefs. Everyone's going there. Munster Luai's the halves combo could be a disaster. It could be because both of them are 6. So you've got Luai who is a 6, and you've got Munster who is a 6. Luai, I guess, will play the 7, and Munster will play the 6. But also, where is the Papua New Guinea players here? So you've got, Munster in the 6. You've got, at least Alex Johnson is from Papua New Guinea, but also a bit of a different story here. You've got Connor Watson. I don't know if he's playing 13 or 9. Probably plays the 9 because I believe Edwin Ipape just re-signed in the Super League. Edwin Ipape contract. Lead Leopards have confirmed that Papua New Guinea international hooker Edwin Ipape has committed his future to the club by signing a 6-year contract extension, securing his place until the end of the 2031 season. Ipape, 26, has been a stand-up player since joining 3 years ago, playing a crucial role in the club's success. Yeah, so Edwin Ipape is... He can't go. He wouldn't be able to go until he was 32. But that would have been an amazing signing for them. Local Papua New Guinean product, who's obviously playing the Super League. He's great for the international team. I really wish he didn't have that massive contract, but obviously he does. So I guess Connor Watson probably goes into the 9, and their whole spine's going to be internationals. I guess they'll just have to play centres, and you have to go wingers. There's no way you'd sign an Aussie or an Islander winger. You'd go with a Papua New Guinea winger. We would have to. And centres, you probably do the same thing, looking for the next Justin Olam. Back rowers, you're probably sweet. I don't know. Where's Jacob Alec-Winky? Jacob Alec-Winky. Where is he? Is he anywhere? Where is he? Oh, that's right. He's with the Lead Leopards until 20... He's with Lead Leopards until 2028. So that's a perfect time. I think Jacob Alec-Winky probably goes there. I think that's a great little chance for him to go there and give it a crack. He's an international Papua New Guinea as well. 26 years old, he'll be 29. Perfect time. Perfect time to get him over there. I think that should be a priority signing for them. Don't we have a loan system in the comp though? Well, not really. Ultimately, Jonah Pezzett is on an essential loan at the Eels, but he's not on loan. The Broncos signed him for next year. He's signed to the Eels this year, and then he'll go to them next year. It's not like a loan. It just means that he ended his contract with the Storm, and then there was a year gap, so he went to the Eels, and then he's going to the Broncos. There's no real loan there. And then the same thing with Jerome Luai. That contract has been cut this year, so now he's free for next year. So now he's just signed a 1-year contract with the Eels, and then he's to Papua New Guinea in 2028. So there's no real... there is a loan process, which we saw with Harry Grant in 2000 2021 or 2020 with the Tigers, but it's not really a thing. But anyway, the second half has started here, guys. Hit that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. The Tigers are going to get this ball here to the 33, Paddy Herbert, and be third tackle. Peter says, Munster and Luai, both left side players, also both kick with their left foot, just wouldn't work. I don't disagree with you, but also Jerome Luai, we all know that when he came to Tigers, he wanted to play the 7. He really wanted to play the 7. So they go to the left-hand side, say fast, Luai, Samwana with a good run here to the 45 on fit tackle. They have, it'll be interesting to see what happens, no loyalty in the NRL anymore. Well, the thing is that everyone always has this like loyalty expectation of players. And of course I do too. You know, you have this loyalty expectation of players, but I will defend the players here and say that clubs are just as unloyal. You know, the clubs just don't get held as accountable, but clubs are just as unloyal. You know, it's very easy for a club to terminate a contract when they don't have things going their way. It's like, well, why don't players get the same grace in terms, and I'm not defending anybody specific here, I'm saying why don't players in general get the same kind of grace that clubs as a whole get? That's because the players are the face. But they're also the face for an actual entity, a face for a franchise. So it's like the clubs don't get held accountable for their lack of loyalty. But yet the players do. And I think it should be a two-way street. I actually had a player talk to me about this the other day. Well, the other day being like 3 weeks ago, I was speaking, not a Titans player as well, I was speaking on Instagram with, and we were talking about this exact conversation, and I was saying to him, like, I 100% agree. Ethan Strange, good run here. He'll get this ball to the 50 up to Ethan Sanders. This is away here. Oh, Dane Laurie, Kyle Weeks, probably a 4 pass there. Yep. 4 pass. But no, we were conversating about the fact that, you know, players and clubs are just as loyal to each other. Some players will remain loyal and some clubs remain loyal. Like, you know, AJ Brimson is a tough one, whether it's loyalty to the club or loyalty to his lifestyle. With that being said, like, at the end of the day, he's here. But like, there are players who are genuinely loyal, but they're far and few between. There are clubs that are sometimes genuinely loyal, not permanently. Third tackle here for the Tigers, and they are going to be at the 40 on the Raiders side of the field. I can lie, last night, Friday games were on one of the best this season in hangover season. It ended up being pretty good. I wouldn't say they were amazing. The last 15 minutes of both games are pretty good. The first 65 weren't amazing. Left-hand side, Jerome Luai. Luai's going to step around. He's still going here at the 10. He'll kick this ball through for Jerome Bullard. It's a great little kick there. Oh, it's going to be knocked out of play. Oh, it's a knock on Tigers. Oh, try saver there from Jed Stewart. That was amazing work. I thought that was a great kick there from Jerome Luai. This was a great kick. Just bounces across, but Jerome Bullard couldn't bring it in. And Jed Stewart comes in with a try-saving tackle. Titans should acquire Joe Mona come next season. But absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not the player we want. Not the player that we're looking for. Oh, knock on from the Raiders. That's the play they're looking for, though. Tigers get the ball at 30. Someone throw an uppercut, you cats. Someone throw an uppercut, you cats. Smack him. Smack him. Biffo alert. Big Biffo happening here. Big Biffo. Big Biffo. Loyalty in sports wasn't once, was before. Nowadays, money and family are important. Well, family's always been important, but money is a massive factor nowadays, of course. Fun facts, I think this is why everyone loves Alex Twell, because he has stated he wants to play for the Tigers only. Well, Alex Twell wasn't amazing until recently, and then now has really turned into an amazing, massive bolter of a lock. But yeah, Alex Twell is loyal. I think that I think that his intention would be to stay here, but they did, you know, they kept playing him, even though he wasn't spectacular, but they kept just giving him goes and goes and goes, and, you know, they've platformed his career to what it is now, so I can understand why he would be wanting to remain extremely loyal to this club. You know, some players want to win premierships, and some players want to develop clubs to get them into a premiership chance and to be a part of the first team to do it. Paddy Herbert at the 20 on third tackle. And they go out to the left-hand side, off to Javon Andrews, then Sione Fainu, and he'll be at the 15 on fourth tackle. Cottawee South, left-hand side, Jerome Luai. Luai at the back now to Javon Andrews. And Javon Andrews will be 5 metres away from the line. So Sunia Turova, haven't seen him at all today. Get to Luai. Luai flicks it underneath here to Seyfarth. What on earth is happening here? Seyfarth's going to kick this ball through for himself here. Played at. This is Tigers' ball. Yeah, this is Tigers' ball here at the 5. That's played at by the Raiders. It is 6 again for sure. So Apisai Koroisau, he'll go out to Alex Twal. Big Twally. And Twal's going to be at the 4 on second tackle. Second tackle. They roll it back to Koroisau. Koroisau, Luai at the back of Jareen Buller. Great tackle there from the Raiders. It'll be Tigers' ball at the 5. And there's going to be a penalty, I think, for a high tackle here. Yeah, it is. Penalty Tigers for high contact. That Lebanon team at the World Cup attack stacked in the attack. Concerns, though, with the defence. Stacked in the attack? Stacked? I know they've got Jacob Kiraz. And they've got Adam Dewey. Where's the stacked in the attack? Can you read me the one? Can you type the 1 through 7 for Lebanon? Mitchell Moses, Adam Dewey, Jacob Kiraz. It's a good 5. It's a good 5, 6, and 7. Where's the 1, 2, 3, 4? Who's the 1, 2, 3, 4? So second tackle for the Tigers, Koroisau. He'll roll out the back now to Sione Fainu, and Sione Fainu. Oh yeah, sub. That's a scam. That's a scam. Yeah, like I guess, yeah, okay, there's your 2s. So you've got a 2, 5, 6, and 7. Who's the 1, 3, and 4? Let's give it to Alex Seyfarth on the 5th tackle. Hey, Mitchell, worked out, didn't it? Alex Twal. He'll now be at the 3 on 4 tackle here. 3 metres out. It's 6 again. Sione Fainu. Oh, he'll be held up over the line. First tackle back at the 10. Tiger Woods says money is an illusion. Wealth is what we perceive it to be. Health is wealth. But yeah, you're right. 100%. But, money is also important. But you're also right. So Apisai Koroisau will go to the left-hand side. Alex Twal back here to Koroisau to do short ball Seyfarth. And Seyfarth will be at the 7 on 5 at the second tackle. Koroisau out to Javon Andrews, Jerome Luai, Dream Buller, flicks it across here. Don't back yourself on the wing. Yeah, good idea to come back in. Third tackle at the 10. Paddy Herbert's going to make a quick little dart here. A little quick dart. Oh, the Buller. It's going to be a knock on. Oh, my gosh. To be fair, that's on Paddy Herbert there because he's passed that ball behind where Dream Buller is. If he passes the ball to Dream Buller at the right area, I just don't understand why they're going down this right wing and not down this left wing. Like, their left side attack is far better for mine, the Tigers. Like, their left side's got Junior Tupou, Sunia Turova, Samuela Fainu. I really feel like you'd be going down that left side more than the right side, but instead they're going down the Sunia Turova, Junior Tupou, and Ethan Roberts / Sione Fainu side. I really don't understand why they're forcing them the right wing rather than the left wing. But first tackle now for the Raiders, and they're going to be at the 15. Don't forget, right after this game, guys, we've got the Bulldogs taking on the Warriors, followed by the Broncos taking the Cowboys. Seb says, is it over yet? Not over yet, mate. Still got 31 and a half minutes to go here. Still got 31 and a half minutes to go of this absolute belter of a game. Belter of a game. Hold on 1 second. 4 tackle. Taylor says, what's Turova doing? Nothing much. Well, I just don't understand why they're forcing it down the right wing with Sunia Turova. You know, ultimately, I think their left side attack is better, but they keep going down the right side attack. Fifth tackle, they must have trained and planned thinking that the Raiders' left side defense was going to be easy to break through, but obviously it has not been. But they just keep going down this right side attack. So this is going to be a high kick here from the Raiders. Oh, no way. Oh, Tigers, no. This is probably going to be a dropout here from the Tigers. I don't know if Xavier Savage just touched this or not, but I thought he was going to score for sure. Apparently, Kiraz is being floated as fullback for Lebanon. Probably wouldn't surprise me. Okay, so take away a winger. So then who's your 3, 4, and 5? Yeah, no touch by anyone here. It just bounces really perfectly for Xavier Savage, but he's not going to be able to get it. And he does look frustrated, so he probably does knock this ball on. The ball bouncing away from him there. He just has to dive on it. Oh, it's a knock on from Xavier Savage, yeah. No, this is going to be Tigers ball at the 20. Buller been down in confidence. He's been down in confidence, David, for about this year, really. I don't think Buller's been amazing this year. Even when the Tigers were going really, really well, it wasn't really the Dream Buller show. It was more, Adam Dewey and Jock Madden was having a good time at the beginning of the year. Samuela Fainu was massive. Terrell May was doing his job. You know, I wouldn't really say that Dream Buller has been amazing this year in general. But yeah, the whole team is down in confidence, Rex. You're right. Do you think money shows who people really are? I think that's harsh, but I think that it can change people, for sure. That's a whole conversation for another time. Third tackle here at the 40. 30 minutes to go of the game here, folks. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Tigers out to the left. Alex Twal, short ball to Safar. Don't know about that. Fourth tackle here at the 50. Let Tigers play per start of the year. Loser doesn't get to play in the league. Tigers are in Vegas next year, bro. It's Tigers playing the Storm and the Titans playing the Eels. Oh, yikes. That is some matchups, isn't it? Someone Flainu chasing us nicely. Tigers coming down. Kai Weeks gets it at 3, and he will bring this ball out here to the... They're away here. Jed Stewart. No. Good scramble there from the Tigers. Prevent getting away. No, Jed Stewart's still going. And they might be still away here. Still get the ball to the 25 on first tackle. Yeah, it's Tigers versus Storm and Eels versus Titans next year. Brilliant matchups. Mate, best matchups you could ever think about. Americans will be so excited. They'll be salivating at the thought. Fun fact says maybe Jordan Samrani, Michael Gabriel, and Abbas Miski at 3, 4, and 5. Jordan Samrani, yeah, solid. Not amazing, but solid. Michael Gabriel is like outskirts of Sharkies. Don't know what amazing about him, but he's not been on the edge of making the Sharks team for ages. And then Abbas Miski, probably. Tigers are so bad they make the Perth Bears look decent at least, up the way says. Gee whiz, you're really honing in on the Tigers today. And they'll be knock on in from the Tigers. Kyle Weeks is going to... Oh, they're going to score. No, they won't. It'll be 0 tackle at 13. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that's stacked, Azu, but it's a better 1 through 7. It's a better 1 through 7 than we've seen before. I wouldn't say it's stacked, though. It's good, though. The Bra Man, short ball through the line. Dane Laurie, too easy. Try-time Raiders. 32-10 with a kick to come. Too easy. 32-10 with a kick to come. It's 32-10 with a kick to come. Shut-time for the Raiders. Too easy, son. Trey says, why does the NRL only come to Vegas for the opening part of the year? Because that's just the deal. Why would we come to Vegas any other time? They're actually trying to organise for the future, because Vegas is only contracted till 2028 when Perth come in. So when Papua New Guinea come in. So in 2028, you're actually probably going to see Papua New Guinea in there because they said every team's going to get a go. Now, it'll be interesting if they do decide to take Papua New Guinea or not. I don't know if they actually do, but if they're going to be legitimate about it, 2027, it's the Titans, the Eels, the Tigers and the Storm. The only team that hasn't gone yet is the Dolphins. You will have Perth Bears in. They would have played a year, so Perth Bears will definitely be there in 2028. So you'll have Perth Bears, the Dolphins, and then you'll either have Papua New Guinea or 2 repeats in 2028. And that's the final year before they're actually deciding to take it to like a global round where every game in round 1 will actually be in a different part of the world, where that potentially be Vegas, or that be Miami, or that be Southern France, or that be Hong Kong, or that be Singapore, or it be London. They're looking to take the game as a round 1 away from Australia. Yeah. Josh Mansour to come out of retirement and score 5 tries a game. Love it. All right, so Ethan Sanders here should make this kick make it 34-10 with 27 minutes to go. Give us 50, you cats. You were waiting for that, weren't you, Seb? You were waiting for it. I can see Para vs Titans taking America by storm. Oh, Jason, mate, it's a game, all right. Gee whiz, it's a game. Like, it is a game, all right, mate. I tell you, I'll be there. I will be in Vegas in next year for the games. Meant more so like Texas or another part of NA, like Vancouver or Toronto or something. Again, like there's a chance. I don't think Texas, but they did float the idea of Miami, LA. There was an idea floated of Honolulu and Hawaii. Like I said, there was even floated an idea of Honolulu getting a team. That's not going to be happening anytime soon, anyway. And like I said, Hong Kong, Singapore. Well, you've seen the AFL go to bloody India, so that's crazy. But, Hong Kong, Singapore, London, Southern France, the likes. Oh, that's out in the fall from the Tigers. This is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Marcel says, PNG first game at Vegas will be weird. Don't they usually have a first game at home? Yeah, but also, that means that Papua New Guinea would never get that game then, unless they do this global round thing that they're talking about. So it's like, agree, Papua New Guinea should be getting the first game at home. However, like, we do need 2 extra teams besides Perth and the Dolphins, who will be there guaranteed in 2028. Haas, Samoa versus AFB Tonga round 2 at World Cup. Biffle, who different? Well, Haas wins that battle. Easy. After Bunny says, Japan would be nice for the NRL to target the audience. Japan's heavily on rugby union, man. Like, they're heavy rugby union. Kaya Weeks, but sure, don't mind it in Tokyo. I'd go to it. I'd go to it in Tokyo. Second tackle here at the 15 for the Raiders. Tom Starling, they could blow this game away from here. Dane Laurie at the back, Ethan Strange. We'll have to go down to the 10, third tackle. Why would they take a game in Southern France? The game is established there if the game is established there if only in certain areas. What are you saying? The game is established there if only in certain areas? Because they want to grow the audience. They want to try and grow it in parts of the world that don't get to see it necessarily. Fifth tackle here at the 3. I think you're saying isn't established there. It goes Xavier Savage, and that'll be, I don't think that's played at. This is going to be Tigers ball to 10. Yeah, Tigers ball to 10. Japan has invested way too much money pulling Super Rugby players and such as Japan to try and do league at the same time. Yeah, I agree. I agree. They're heavily invested in rugby union. They're heavily invested in football, as in soccer, and rugby union. And I just don't know if you're going to be able to change that. Paddy Herbert's going to be out at the 12 on first tackle. Like, I guess you could try and get some kind of an audience there, but, you know, they're really looking for the gambling approach. And I don't think, Japan doesn't mind a bit of a gamble, but, or maybe I'm also thinking about Korea. They could go to Seoul. If they want gamblers, like, you could go to Seoul in Korea. Terrell May, Dream Buller. It's going to be someone on phone who gets away from 1 tackle, and then he'll bring the ball to the 35 now on 4 tackle. All right. Tigers, do something here. Show us something, Tigers. Show us something, please. Just show us anything right now. Fifth tackle of the Tigers, the 45. Got to be Sal Jerome Buller. And Jerome Buller's not Jerome Buller, Jerome Luai. He'll kick this ball down to the 15, where it will be Xavier Savage. And he'll now bring it out to the 20. Gives it off here to Kyle Weeks. Kyle Weeks between at the 25 on first tackle. And high tackle, penalty to the Raiders. Penalty to the Raiders. Also, isn't France Super League territory? And you'll have to contend with Super League and the fact that France is more about rugby union. Rugby union factor, sure, but what has that got to? What has the Super League got to do with it? If anything, that's good. They'll take it to. If anything, that's great. And also, the NRL is considering purchasing the Super League. To be fair, I can see Japan trying to grow an American football league before rugby league. No, I disagree. No, Japan's baseball, football, and rugby union. No way. Rugby league would be... NFL is not taking over Japan. No way. Rugby league is essentially the same concept as rugby union, just played differently. Second tackle here at the 48. 6 again here for the Raiders. Tom Starling to Atamariota. And they'll be at the 40 on first tackle. William says, show us how you whoop out to the Sheds. What a useless team. Now, unfortunately, they haven't turned up here for you today, William. The Brown man will take the sport on the 35 on second tackle, but yeah, it was always tough. The Rays are playing for a top 8 spot right now. And they're trying to fix their points differential as we speak. Matty Nicholson, he'll get the sport on the 23 on third tackle. Japan loves baseball, golf, and soccer. You're forgetting rugby union. Rugby union is massive in Japan, bro. Massive. Fourth tackle. But League has a very passionate following there. Apparently the book The Forbidden Game explains the divide very well in France. Yeah, 100%. But the point is they're trying to grow the audience internationally. And they go out to the left. Ethan Strange off to Matty Tomoko. What was that pass from Tomoko? This is a knock-on from the Raiders. Yep, Tigers ball to 10. Tigers ball to 10. Is Terrell May injured? Terrell May was here, but he's not. Terrell May's not really done anything today. I'm not sure if he's injured, but he hasn't really done a great deal. No, he's on the field. He's there. He's right there. He just made the run just now at the 20. because he only played 28 minutes. No, well, he's on the field right now. Falatina Tavana will beat the 30 on third tackle. And Bunty, forward with a big run to the 40. Shavina says, hello from Mauritius. Get around here, Mauritius Shavina. Out to Javon Andrews. Short ball to Sione Fainu. And this was a bit of a nothing set there from the Tigers. Any chance the NRL coming to Villa Park? Don't think they'd be going to Villa Park there, son. They would probably go to Old Trafford in Manchester. And they would go to somewhere in London. But I don't think we're going to be seeing too much of the old Villa Park, son. First tackle here for the Raiders at the 20. Dan Goldstein with a $5 dude donation. So don't talk a bunch about my bets, but Raiders 13 plus looks like it's going to cash. He's a 10% in Kiwi rupees. I'm going to take an old man nap before UFC. Get around your man. What? You're not going to watch the Warriors here after this? Oh, Simi Sasungi's just done over Terrell May there. Simi Sasungi's away here. He's away at the 40, the 35, the 30, 25, taken down to the 25, third tackle. 20 minutes to go here, guys. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Thank you for the dono, Dan. What, you're missing the Warriors-Bulldogs game right after this? But yeah, Raiders 13 plus is going to cash, bro. The Tigers aren't coming back. And they'll be 5 metres away from the line, 4 tackle. Phillip Park is better than Old Trafford. Place has fallen apart. Sure, but they'll take it to Old Trafford. That's where the World Cup final was. Not the World Cup. Yeah, it was where the World Cup final was. And that's just way too easy. Matty Nicholson brings his ball to the 5 on fifth tackle. Short ball. Brahman just got rocked by Bunty Afoa, but it is a penalty to the Raiders. It is a penalty to the Raiders. Seb said, I think they should do a game in London. That Ashes game was full of expat Aussies, so I'm sure would be well attended. Yeah, for sure. 1,000,000% they would. London is what they spoke about. London was one of the prolific ones. You know, like Honolulu was down lower. I think Miami was quite high up there too, though. London, Miami, Hong Kong, Singapore kind of deal. I do feel like you'd probably only choose one of Hong Kong or Singapore, though. And I think it would more so be Hong Kong than Singapore. But Singapore has a massive reputation for rugby sevens. And so does Hong Kong. But Singapore is like a big destination for rugby sevens. They go to the right-hand side off to Ethan Sanders. Sanders now to Arta Mariota. And he will get 2 minutes away from the line, second tackle. I have to make a choice. I'm going to be cooked for UFC if I don't. It makes me turn cover. MMA is my first love. Volkanovski has never hurt me like the Warriors have. Oh, well, I'm sure he has, but that's going to be a try here for the Raiders. Regardless, Dane Laurie will score, and it will be 38-10 with a kick to come. Volkanovski has broken your heart before, but I also agree with what you're saying. Do you follow horse racing as well? Shavin says. I try to stick away from it. I love horse racing. I just love the feeling of watching those horses come down the straight. I love a good Melbourne Cup, and I do know quite a lot about horses, but it can also send you down pretty dark paths, obviously. If you're watching horse racing, you have to have a pretty good head on your shoulders to not go down a dark path. But I love it. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of the old horse racing, but you just have to be very careful if you get heavily involved in that kind of stuff. Oh, Dane Laurie just gets there. Yeah, he got it down. Dennis says, I was at the Super League Grand Final in 2006. Old Trafford was a dump then, to be honest. Old Trafford's always been a dump. FA Community Shield, not in Wembley, in Wales, very interesting. Fun fact is they should have had the World Cup final at Wembley. Old Trafford is rubbish. I'm not going to disagree with you. Even in losses, Volk's never done me dirty. Fair. Raiders found their stride again. Feeling for Tigers fans this week. Feeling for Tigers fans always. So who is the UFC, Dan? And also, is it like is it in Saudi? Is it? Because otherwise, Ankalev versus Gushkov. Okay. Oh, it's a 9 o'clock my time. Great time for me. Oh yeah, getting New Zealand, that'd be awful time for you. Yeah, you're right. 9 p.m. my time. Where is it? Where is this? This might be in my... Is this in my area? Is this... Where is this? Where is this being hosted? Because it's at a really good time. Oh, Abu Dhabi. Okay, so relative area to me. Relative. All right, so they get the kick. It's 40-10 with 17 minutes to go. Hit a game. Tigers might be getting a fitty bomber. Fitty bomber. Ray's been good the last 3 weeks. Ray's been good the last 4 weeks, David. I guess if you want to remove the Dragons game, sure. But yeah, 4 weeks in a row. They've got 4 wins in a row. Bronze Sexual's going to have a good cheesesteak. Mate, Philly cheesesteak. Have you had one before? They are Buddy, unbelievable, son. Philly cheesesteak. Oh, my gosh. Don't ever disrespect a Philly damn well cheesesteak around here, son. I love a good Philly cheesesteak. And Raiders get the ball to 40 on first tackle. They wouldn't hold the World Cup final in Wembley because the Northerners would get sad. Yeah, fair. Yeah, fair. The Northerners, they're also the predominant rugby league fan base. Dan says, but a lot of fighters from your end fighting. The stands are well represented. Mate, get around the stands. Get around the old stands. Third tackle. I speak on behalf of all the stands right now when I say that everyone in the stands are Titans fans. Everyone. Jeez, Joe Tarpon. There's a little bit of a biffer happening there in the middle of the field. Fourth tackle at 35. I speak on behalf of all the stands when I say everyone's Gold Coast Titans fan of the year. They go out to the left-hand side to the bra man, Ethan Sanders. Sanders is going to be at the 22 on fifth tackle. Be careful of the fitty bomber. Good. Be careful of the fitty bomber. Ethan Strange kicks this ball over the top of it from himself. Bunty forward drops the ball. 6 again coming for the Raiders. They might just score now, though. Raiders left, right-hand side. They flick the ball back to the 25. They're just throwing the ball around now. Xavier Savage. And they'll bring it out to the 15, to the 10 on first tackle. Daniel says, is that Subway? The Subways in the UK are so overrated. It's poor quality for a big price. Subway? No, what? What, Philly cheesesteak? No, mate. Second tackle at the 5. Philly cheesesteak is not. Subway is a brand. They go out to the right. And Kyle Weeks gets it to Simi Sasangi. Simi Sasangi taken down here at the 8. No, gets the offload away. Ethan Strange still going here. And now they'll be taken down to the 9 with a body slam. There's a penalty. And Paddy Herbert's coming with a little bit of a head there. Yeah, this is definitely a penalty to the Raiders. Tigers getting blown out worse than Bonnie Blue on an average Thursday. Thank you for that one, Dan. Ethan Strange gets body slammed by Paddy Herbert. And then Paddy Herbert gives him a little bit of a... Whoa. That's a sin bin. That's a sin bin there because that is technically a headbutt. It's a soft one, but it is technically a headbutt there from Paddy Herbert. I'd bin him. Bunker might say something because that's a bit excessive. It'd be soft. Yep. No, on report. Yeah, it's on report. Alrighty, so Raiders 10 metres away. Try here. Puts them well in range of the fitted bomber. They're helping their points differential out massively right now, the old Raiders. Massive, massive benefit to their old points differential as we currently speak. Wowee. All right, second tackle now for the Raiders at the 3. They go to the right to Ethan Sanders, across it to Kyle Weeks. Oh, Sunya Turuva, that was awful defense, and the Raiders will score 44-10 with the kick to come. 44-10 with a kick to Camamundos. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Hold on 1 second here. Hold on 1 second. This is not for any other Tigers fans. This is just for a person that I know. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Actually, I can't. I was about to say his name. Hold on. Boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Well, you better hope a team don't win tomorrow. I'm referring to the Titans, by the way, because the Tigers, if the Titans win tomorrow, they go above the Tigers. This is not for any other Tigers fan. This is just for him. He's been talking a lot of shit all year long. Mitchell says, don't think my afternoon could get worse than heard the name Bonnie Baloo. Yep, as a Tigers fan, you've had to deal with both of those. Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no obstruction there. He goes through the line. Luai's also been awful today. Is Patrick Herbert your most disliked player? No. Like, Paddy Herbert's a great dude, man. Like, of course, sport is sport. Rugby. Oh, no way are they going to say this is an obstruction. No, this is outrageous. This is outrageous that they're going to claim that this is an obstruction. Jerome Luai gets absolutely nowhere near this. He does not get impacted at all from Simi Sasangi there. But he doesn't even come into contact with him. He's still got free ability to get through. Oh. Oh, dude. Like, it is probably black and white, but yikes, dude. Like, it is black and white, but yikes. I really don't think that should be an obstruction. Jerome Luai was just lazy to go through there, but it's a penalty, Tigers. He doesn't even touch Luai. No, but anyway, Patrick Herbert, that was a bad moment, but I don't dislike him as a player. No. Like, I don't hold resentment as a person. I just think that it was an awful play for sure. I get the offload away here. Good run here. Good run for the Tigers. Jared Hayward at the 48. Raiders side of the field, first tackle. So they go out to Terrell May. And Terrell May, he'll get to the 40, offloads. Out to Samwata Fainu. Samwata Fainu pushes off of Ethan Sanders. And then he's going to run this ball to the 35 on second tackle. I just don't know why they've kept going down the right side today. They've been finding so much better space on this left side with Ethan Sanders and Simi Sasangi's side. And penalty to the Tigers here. I reckon DC's most disliked player. Used to be, not anymore. Don't care anymore. That was 12 years ago, bro. First tackle now for the Tigers at the 10. They go to the left-hand side of Jerome Luai. Luai sets back onto the inside. What the fuck are you doing, Jerome Luai? Oh, no. Please, Luai, please. You're embarrassing. Please. He's kicked the ball on first tackle for a 7-tackle set for the Raiders. Oh, end the game, mate. End the game. That is so bad from Luai, man. Don't forget, guys, Warriors Bulldogs after this. That'll be such a better game than this. My gosh, Luai, that is atrocious. On first tackle, 10 metres out, you kick the ball and it goes out dead for a 7-tackle set. There was not even anywhere near a competitive chase for it. Oh, jeez. Can we give PNG Luai his money? Can we give the PNG Luai his money instead? Nice season on tightrope after 2 ending season injuries. Left-hand side, Ethan Sanders right through the line there. So poor defense from the Tigers. Well done, Luai. That's unbelievable, Luai. Tigers fans, you should obliterate him for his game here today. It's about to be a 46-10 ball game here to the Raiders. Tigers, you've been abysmal, but Luai, that is outstanding. You have first tackle 10 metres away from the try line for the Raiders, and you decide to kick the ball on first tackle and kick it dead where it was not even competitive. And it says, Luai's been absolute rubbish since leaving the Panthers, just looked good in a good team. Again, I think that he was good at the Panthers because he was actually given it a crack, and he did have players alongside him that benefited him, and Cleary was obviously the decisive playmaker. Luai left there to become the decisive playmaker, and he is awful at being the decisive playmaker. Samoa obviously means a lot more to him because he does play better for Samoa because he's passionate about the country, but I don't believe that he's passionate about the Tigers. I think he's passionate about himself, and that's why he has failed here at the Tigers, because it's not been about the club, it's not been about taking them in a new direction, it's been about trying to prove himself, and he's proven against himself. Luai's clearly checked out, but the thing is, honey, he's been like this for like a year and a half. It's just Tigers fans haven't wanted to admit it. Adam Dewey laughing, somewhere laughing right now. Sure, but that doesn't mean that he's right, Bob. Sure, and I disagreed from the start with Benji's decision-making, but that doesn't mean that Adam Dewey is right. He says, Luai's a great second fiddle, that's about it. I agree. Para fans shaking their fists at the sky, knowing this guy is going to be their club next year. And Luai and Moses could work well, because if Moses shows to be the guy and Luai, is in behind him, it could actually work out well for him. But it's only a 1-year thing. If they don't win the comp next year, what was the point of bringing in Luai? Gee whiz, bro. Gee whiz. But, who has been good for the Tigers today? You know what I mean? It's not been great for the Tigers at all. They will get the kick. They will get the Kickamondos. And 11 and a half minutes to go. They are 4 points away from a Fitty Bomber. Is Benji under massive pressure now? Benji is not getting sacked this season. Next year is a good chance, though, if it doesn't work out, though. Just seen a report that Benji actually bat flipped on switching AD positions, but AD still said not playing. Something about the standards have dropped. Oh, that's bad from Benji. That's bad from Benji. If that's true, I don't know if it's true. If that is true, that is horrific from Benji. That is horrific. That's not defensible from Benji. You have to make your decision and you have to stay with your decision. It's a smozzle. Adam Dewey, awful decision what he's doing. Just awful what's happening at this club. That's bullshit. If that's true, that Benji actually backflipped on switching AD positions, but then Adam Dewey still said he's not playing, I can back in Adam Dewey not playing after that. I cannot back in Adam Dewey from not playing before that. I think that's all from Adam Dewey. But if Benji has done that and has decided to go back on his word because of that, then that shows that he shouldn't be a coach of the club. That shows that he is not the coach of the Tigers and they should sack him. They should sack him if that is the case. If he has gone back on that because he doesn't want the media, he doesn't want the situation in the team, you made your decision. You have to lay with it. That is awful. That is a bad sign for Benji Marshall at the Tigers. That might be the death rattle, that. Raiders have the top here, and there's the Fitty Bomb. There's the Fitty Bomb. 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 Oh, that pisses me off in regards to Benji. That pisses me off in regards to Benji. If that is true. If that is true. But it's Fitty Bomb here for the Raiders. 10 minutes to go to game, folks. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Fitty Bomb. Fitty Bomb. Fitty Bomb. Fitty Bomb. Fitty Bomb. Fitty Bomb. Fun fact is, what better way to prove that standards have dropped than to refuse to play? You just make the case even more apparent. Exactly. That is a mess of a situation. Rick and Noel was right. That's why I'm saying, Rex, if it's true. William says, look at half this Tigers team out there, the money they're on, and we get this shit, piss them off, and let's rebuild again for the next 15 years. Again, told you 50. Yeah, well, it's happened. It's happened. Ziggy says, well, if that is true, it's putrid. Have a backbone, stand by decision, and stop bowing down to the media. Stop bowing down to the media. That's also showing that he is not the coach. You are not the coach if that is the case. Still laugh every time I hear about Luai improving the culture. Yeah, no, this is a shit fest. It's a shit fest. They could get 60 here. They're going to be potentially 10, potentially 8 points away from it if Ethan Thames can get this kick. Bizarre, the NRL has decided to televise the Raiders practice session. Yeah, well, this is huge for their season because they're up by 40. Let's just wait for this kick and then I'll tell you the latter. Well, Bulldogs, you must win against the Warriors today, otherwise you're below them. And Ethan Sanders will get the kick. Good kick, 52-10. All right, so they're up by 42 points. They will go to... They're not going to get above Melbourne, but they're actually getting close to them now. But they're going to get above Melbourne in regards to the points, but just the points differential. They'll be at minus 41. They'll be minus 39. So, yeah, they're well above the Bulldogs now in regards to points differential. They're now close to getting above the Cowboys, which means if the Cowboys lose the Broncos and the Raiders win next week, the Raiders can go above the Cowboys. This is huge in terms of their points differential. Fun fact, I don't see Benji doing that. Well, you wouldn't really know, would you? And that's not me insulting you. I'm just saying you wouldn't know because you're not inside the club. He's not the type to reverse his decisions. I think AD was trying to save face. I could be wrong, but we don't know. Exactly right. We don't really know. We have an idea, but we don't really know. We get told the little trinklets in the media. We don't know shit. We don't know shit. But this is disgraceful here for the Tigers. Joe Tarpany will bring this ball now to the 33. Don't forget, in 25 minutes' time, Warriors Bulldogs, which should be a much better game than this. And the Raiders on 4 tackle at the 50. And here comes the clap. They've all got the clap in Canberra. And Raiders get this ball off to Kyle Weeks. And they'll be at 5th tackle at 35. Patricia says, hopefully the Sharks are the same tomorrow. And look, I hope so, for my mum's sake. I would love to see that for Mum, but obviously Manly are still fighting for that 8. It's going to be a tough one. First tackle. I think it is at Sharky Park, though. Dressing room on Monday morning at Tigers headquarters will be interesting. No, the dressing room at the end of this game will be interesting. Penalty to the Tigers. 7.5 minutes to go. David Riccio says that's what he's heard, but either way, full story will come out next week. Yeah, like he said, she said at this point. he said, she said at this point. Like, that just because David Rico said it doesn't mean jack, you know, and also he could be telling the truth, but it's just like the person who's told him could be talking, you know, just bullshit. You just never know, man. You just never know. So Tigers get this ball here at the 25. My gosh, this has been a season to forget. They had such unbelievable hope at the beginning part of the year, and they've fallen off a cliff. Who do you think has been the best player with the Raiders today? I reckon Sasangi's been their best. He's an absolute gun. Probably one of the Dalian centers of the year. I was saying this at the beginning part of the year before he got his injury. Yeah, I'd still say he probably should be getting it. Ethan Sanders has been good today. He's been really good the last 3 weeks. Really changing my mind in regards to what he's doing as a player. Corey Horsburgh, the Brown man's been doing pretty well today. Samir Sasangi's been fantastic. Just overall, everyone for the Raiders has been brilliant. They go to the left to Terrell May. Terrell May brings his ball to the 40. It'll be 4 tackle. Still tumbling down that cliff. It's like that Homer Simpson coming down the cliff on his skateboard. Jareem Buller, he'll get this ball to the 23 on 5th tackle. Someone to find it to Haywood. Out to Jerome Luai. And Luai will kick this ball into the corner where Jerome Luai, get him off the field. Get him off the field. I'm sorry. He has had a 0 out of 10 game here today. It's been a 0 out of 10 game. Have you put the Tigers on scam? Boys, were we? Mate, they're not in the top 9. I can promise you they'd be in Antarctica if they were in the top 9. I promise you, if they were in the top 9, they'd be in Antarctica. They would be changed to the Antarctican Penguins. They would not exist on this ladder. But they're actually quite lucky they're not in the top 9 for that to come. 3rd tackle here for the Raiders. 5.5 minutes to go. Xavier Savage gets this ball to the 40. 4th tackle. Only team that would be willing to sign Dewey after this would be the Eels. It'd be a like-for-like replacement for Walker. No, Rabbitohs. Rabbitohs will think about it. Cody Walker's on the end, and Rabbitohs will think about it. And Perth will think about it. He's had a 0 out of 10 season. In fact, maybe even negative. All he's done is derail the club season and play like crap himself. Don't disagree with that. They'll let this ball bounce here, the Tigers. And Falatino Tavana gets the ball to 3. And Tigers, yikes. Again, at least the next 2 games should be good. Cowboys-Broncos should be good. Warriors-Bulldogs should be good. Well, Sonia Taruva. And Taruva brings this ball out here to the 13. Rice says, it's just reading the article by Fox League. Apparently, Adam Dewey paid for his own ticket to Magic Round to support the Tigers when some players don't even go to Sydney games. Why would he have... I can't believe the Tigers wouldn't pay for that ticket. Tigers are such a mess, mate. They're such a mess. But again, there's a lot of he said, she said right now. 5th tackle, they made 20 metres. 5th tackle, they made 20 metres on this set. And Jerome Luai will kick this ball to the 40, where the Raiders, Xavier Savage gets that ball, and he'll bring it to about the 50, to the 50 on 1st tackle. Good night all. Enjoy the footy. Up the wires, Crystal. Get around you, Dan. God bless you. Who it's out that it's called the Fitty Bum culture. It is a culture, unfortunately, here. It is a culture, unfortunately, here. So, 6 again for the Raiders. Don't write off the 60 Schlammer, though. I don't know if they'll score 2 tries in 3 minutes 45, but they're going to be 1st tackle at the 35, and Jaden Brayley's going to bring this ball to the 24 now, 2nd tackle. Great to see Matty Nicholson back after his horrendous injuries. No, it is awesome. Be able to come back, especially with perfect timing too, because Hudson Young obviously is out for the rest of the season. So 3rd tackle out the 10. It was all fine until Jerome Summer PNG. No, it wasn't. Nah, the injuries crushed him, and then that just assisted it. Tomoko right through. That's a try time. It's a momentum. That's a try. 56-10 of the Raiders with the kick to come. 56-10 with the kick to come. There is a chance here that the Tigers give up 2 60 Schlammers in a season, because they lost 68-0 to the Panthers. There's a chance they give up another 60. Sanders has been really good lately, Marcel. He's awful for 17 rounds, but he's definitely starting to kick on later in the season. Massive. So why is Luai kicking on the last tackle? Does Andrews just not exist or something? This is also one way to really demotivate your rookie 7, by the way. This is a fantastic way to demotivate your rookie 7. Momentum is back. You love a good momentum. Just not the human. Love a good momentum. Oh, boy, Tigers. This is something. This is something. 3 minutes left. Please save us, Warriors, Bulldogs, Broncos, Cowboys. Sanders definitely be better next year after his first prep than a good spell. Yeah, he got a game at the end of last year, and then obviously he's been there for this entire season. He's been awful this year, but these last 3 weeks have been good. Yeah, Sanders' most improved player of the last 3-4 rounds for sure. Can we give the Tigers a spoon? And he says, look, unfortunately not, because they did win enough games at the beginning part of the year. Jerome Luai's signing with Papua New Guinea was like the nail in the coffin of this Tigers season. It wasn't what's kicked it off, but it was like the nail in the coffin. Two and a half minutes left. Good idea, Dragons would flog them. Well, the Dragons beat them 24-10 3 weeks ago. So 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go here of the game. Ethan Sanders. Come on, take the kick. We want to see if they can get a 60 slam. I want to see if they can get a slammer. Sanders. And they'll miss a kick. So we'll stay 56-10. 2 minutes to score another try to make it a 60 slam. Jim Masters, how come one star signing with another club, rubbing a club so much? Happens all the time with other clubs. Because one, Jerome Luai is the captain. Two, it completely changed the belief system in said captain and also in said player in general. And some clubs are able to... I feel like what it does is it sends a message to the rest of the playing group that he doesn't believe in the future of this club. And then they're like, okay, well, shit, he doesn't believe it, and he's the captain. Do I believe in this club then? And it just gets the question going. Chas Poker says, how did the Tigers fall so hard after smashing the Cowboys out of the season? They looked promising. They did look promising. Injuries killed them, but then Jerome Luai situation smacked him for 6, and then this Adam Dewey situation has just really buried him far down in the ground. Who do you think has been the best player of the Tigers? Not easy one, Jerome Luai. Nobody is the answer. Third tackle for the Raiders at the 30. I will say I'm not going to blame Javon Andrews. I don't even think he's been poor. I just don't think that he's been given an opportunity, really, because Jerome Luai's taken to kicking, and Jerome Luai's still trying to be the decisive playmaker, and it's like, you're not the 7, mate. You're not the 7. What's the point of bringing in Javon Andrews if you're still going to get Luai demanding to be the decisive playmaker in the 6 role? And this is what I'm saying. He really believes he's a 7 when he's never shown amazing signs at 7. There's no point debuting a halfback if you're not going to give him the opportunity in the game. This is such a bad situation at the Tigers because there's no one in the right. There's nobody in the right. Benchy's decision-making was still wrong. And they go to Luai. They go out to... That's a knock-on from the Raiders here. It'll be Tigers ball at 35. Otherwise, someone will find it would have been away. It would be much better if players couldn't sign for teams until the season is over and players sign 2 years in advance and saying someone means they really don't give a shit. Yeah, I think that needs to be sorted out by the NRL. Because why would Jerome Luai give a shit right now? He's got a contract for the Eels next year, and then he's also got a contract for Papua New Guinea for years after that. Why would he give a shit as we speak? There's no reason for him to give an absolute shit about this game, about this team, about this season. Why would he care? And that's why Luai should have been gone rather than Dewey. That doesn't make Dewey right in regards to his decision making. It doesn't make Dewey correct in the way that he has reacted to it. But it's wrong from Benji Marshall to put in Javon for Dewey rather than take Jerome out when you can clearly see that 1, he's not playing well. 2, I debate his care factor here for a club that he's leaving next year. Oh, and Benji said to him he can go. Benji was the one who said you can go at the end of this year rather than waiting it out until 2028. You can go now. But yet they still decide to say bye to Adam Dewey. It's a schmozzle. It's a shambles, man. Everything's just up shit creek for the Tigers. Now, in regards to the result of this game, 46 points will be the difference. The Raiders will go from -81 to... Minus 41, minus 35. So they're now technically above the Cowboys on points differential, but they're just 2 points short of them. And the Raiders will now be in 10th position with still 4 more wins to go to get into that into the top 8 on 13 wins. They need to win 4 out of their last 5 games here, the Raiders. But they're in 10th. They just got to hope the Warriors win against the Bulldogs in the next game. Tigers, you've just gone below the Eels. So you've gone from minus 162 to minus 208. You've got the second worst points differential in the competition. And if the Titans win tomorrow against the Dragons, you are in second last. It's a shit show, man. It really is. It's a shit show. The Tigers, if the Titans beat the Dragons tomorrow, you are in second last. But either way, you're in third last. What was such a promising season has just gone and been absolutely tanked beyond oblivion, and Tigers fans should be rightfully pissed off. They should be rightfully pissed off. But anyway, that's going to be this game here today, guys. We'll be live in 15 minutes' time for the next game, which is the New Zealand Warriors travelling to Sydney to take on the Canberra Bulldogs. Do me a favour, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll see you up for that game. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya. I do feel for you, Tigers. I really do. I do feel for you.